Hello, everybody. It is Sadie here with some news for all of you. The next episode you will hear, whether it be free feed or Patreon, will not be Twin Peaks The Return Part 9. It will, in fact, be our episode for our roundup on the 2026 Fantasia Film Festival, which we were very lucky to get a press pass for. And we went and saw a bunch of movies. I hope you look forward to it. We will be talking about. I can tell you guys, I saw a lot of movies. Camp Miasma, Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, the new Jane Schoenbrunn picture, as well as a segment of Castration Movie 3, the Louise Weird film, and to round out the transgender trifecta, our Effed Up World by Alice May McKay. We also just saw a bunch of other ones. If any of you are interested in hearing about The Samurai and the Prisoner by J-horror star Kiyoshi Kurosawa, as well as Village of Eight Gravestones by Takashi Shimizu, director of the Ju-on The Grudge franchise. Saw that, saw a whole bunch more. I hope, honestly, to tell you all about, I think, my personal favorite, Mata Punky, a Chilean queer punk film about a punk who kills the president of the United States with power. When he drinks jungle juice, he gets superpowers. Those are just some of the crazy movies we saw. Also, that will be a guest episode. Lily is not available to record it because she's in Sweden right now, in Europe, doing a whirlwind tour of her fame, going to conferences and whatnot. I will be recording with friend of the show, Molly Malichevska, local filmmaker and organizer of the Exposures Festival, a really cool trans film festival that has been going on in Montreal. And overall, lovely person. I can't wait for you all to meet her. And her and I will be talking about all the Fantasia movies that we saw. And the regular Twin Peaks The Return Part 9 episode will be 2 weeks after that. And I hope you enjoy this one. It's a big episode. Bye. Hello, and welcome to TSTV, a show in which I, Sadie, guide my friend Lily through the wild world of Twin Peaks, and a wild world it is, because today we're watching Twin Peaks The Return Part 8, also known as Got a Light? Lily, how's it going?
Oh, a little shaken by the events that I've witnessed this morning. Yeah, it's been okay. I've been going on a lot of really, really big walks. I think I'm
Fuck yeah.
averaging like 10,000 steps a day this week, which is probably
Damn,
never
go
happened.
off.
Thank you. Yeah, like some like 2 or 3 hour walks. I've just been like walking to and from everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm deep in like writing mode right now, which is just so like I get so in my head, and it's been very helpful to just kind of give myself
Fuck
that
yeah.
space to wander without any music or whatever. Uh yeah, and I'm also dealing with some internet bullshit I will not
Woo!
get into.
Hey,
How are you, Sadie?
I'm pretty good. Um, let's see. My negative thing that I don't need to get too into is that I took my cat Cricket to the vet on Tuesday because he was puking a lot, but I think he is back to
Mhm.
his usual self now. He spent a day or two being like, I just want to sit and not do anything and not eat. But I think
Oh,
he
baby
just,
boy.
I slightly changed their food, which is something that I've done in the past somewhat regularly. But I think combined with the move, he was just like, I'm going to get really bad indigestion about this for 2 days and then be fine. But now
Oh.
he seems fine, which is good.
Mm.
But that was a bit of a scare. My other thing is I started
Mhm.
playing Outer Wilds with Maya, which I have played before
Oh,
in
hell yeah.
like 2019.
Okay,
So
yes.
I only kind of remember, and we won't talk too much about it because this will be a big episode that will talk about for a long time, I am sure. Here's what I will say about Outer Wilds. The least you know about it, the better. If you are thinking of playing it, go
Mhm.
play it. It's probably in my like top three, maybe, definitely top five video games, I think, that are out there. And it's been a good one to play with Maya while I forget some things and act like I forget the rest, but it's also a game about like flying around in space in first person disorientingly in a way that Maya would not want to pilot. So I'm just letting Maya tell me where to go and then I figure out the flying around in space of it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, the space fight is fucking crazy. It's so
Yeah.
precise and so yeah. I never finished that game. I loved
Oh,
it and then I just got stuck. I was like I was deep. I was probably like 10 hours deep or something and just didn't find any leads and didn't want to get spoiled. So I think I just
it's
like
funny. I actually never finished it originally. And I forget if I've talked about this on the
really
pod. Okay, well, here's the thing. I got all the way up to the last thing that you can do in that game,
right.
and then I was too scared emotionally to do the last thing in the game, and I said, I'm not
Aw.
beating it. And
Mm.
that's all. I'm usually not a huge spoiler culture person, but this is definitely a game that if you go into it knowing as little as possible, it's really good. But it is really good. Anyway, that's all I'll say about it. It's been fun to play. Do you want to talk about things in your life before we jump into this crazy episode?
Yeah, totally. Okay, well the first thing I guess I said that I was like deep in the writing world. I hope that by the time this episode comes out, what I've been writing has been announced, but it is very connected to this little show we've been making.
Yes. Oh,
And
that's.
in keeping with that, sorry?
I'm just so happy for you that it is happening.
Ah, thank you. I'm also so happy that it's happening. So I've been doing some research that I have wanted to do for a while about Twin Peaks. I've been reading many a Twin
Oh
Peaks
yeah.
book. So I recently picked up The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer by Jennifer Lynch. And I
Hmm.
also bought this one that was so intriguing. It's called Laura's Ghost Women Speak About Twin Peaks.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like dozens of interviews that this woman did with different women who like worked on Twin Peaks or Twin Peaks fans or like
Hmm.
filmmakers, you know. So they get who's involved? They get the executive producer of The Return, um,
Cool.
mm, like some really big, exciting names. Cheryl Lee, like contributed to the book, you know.
Hmm.
And then just like dozens of conversations of, you know, like, hey, you're a filmmaker, you're influenced by Twin Peaks. Tell me your feelings on the fandom and Laura Palmer and all this. And it's like, it's clearly something written for the fandom. A lot of it is about
Hmm.
like the fan festivals, that kind of thing, which is not so much what I'm looking to learn about. But either way, just like the perspectives have been interesting, you know? Um, People putting things in really plain and lovely ways that I have not been able to put into words myself.
Hmm. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I would say my one complaint about the book is I think just about everyone is like a straight white woman
Hmm.
who is
Yeah.
interviewed, and that feels like a bit of a wasted opportunity. Not everyone. There are some queer women, there are some like women of color, but it does like the perspectives, they're also in a very narrow age band. It's kind of people in
Hmm.
their 40s who like saw the show in the years after it came out. I think there was room there for a little more diversity of perspectives, but either way, cool book. Glad it exists.
Hell yeah.
The other thing I'll touch on briefly is I saw I Love Boosters, the new Boots Riley movie. Well, new when
Hmm.
we're recording this. Actually saw it twice. I caught it the first weekend it came out, which was last week, and then I went again to
Damn.
see it with Vic and our friend David just yesterday.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? It's a Boots Riley movie, which thank God we get another one.
Hell yeah.
He has this fucking by like so much bigger of a budget and really puts it to use. It's just these crazy theatrics. It's been described as like live action Looney Tunes, and that's I think that's really when it's at its best. It's so zany and so fun. Um, Also kind of a mess. Like there are a lot of things that don't really scan or come together. There are character arcs that like just aren't really given what they need to land, I think.
Hmm.
But ultimately it is it is an action blockbuster about unionizing garment workers. So obviously it's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definite recommend. I don't think I like it as much as Sorry to Bother You, but I'm so like, I at once think it is worse for being less focused,
Hmm.
and I'm so glad it could be as sprawling as it is,
Hell
because it's
yeah.
fun the whole way through, you know?
Hell yeah.
Did you see Sorry to Bother You?
I did. In like when it came out, I haven't seen it since. I remember being middling on it, which I don't. I've thought about if I would like it more now. I remember mainly thinking that its women characters were kind of done a bit dirty,
Mm,
but I don't know. That's been one that I'm like I should watch that again and see if I disagree with me from like 10 years ago. You know?
I mean, one thing I'll tell you about this one, all of the main characters are women. Basically, all of the
Well,
characters,
slay.
period, are women, and, yeah, and they have these really interesting relationships and, like, inner lives and stuff. Kiki Palmer, national treasure. It's not my nation, so it's not really my place to say, but I think it's true.
Hell yeah. It's funny. I think if we were not doing this episode, I would ask you so many more questions about it because I'm looking forward to seeing it. But for now, and
You
with
know what? Yeah.
our knowledge that we have about exactly 3 hours of time from now, do we want to jump into the episode?
You know, we probably should. I'm sure the recap this week will be really, really quick, so we should just breeze through this one.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So here's what happens in this episode. Mr. C is out of jail, no problem. He's cruising with Ray. He uses his phone to get tracking devices off his car somehow. He says he's going to take Ray to the farm, which isn't ominous at all. Ray says he has some numbers memorized that Mr. C wants, but he might charge some money for them. Then he has to pee, which Mr. C uses as an opportunity to shoot Ray, but he fell for the fake bullets trick. Ray shoots him. This must spell trouble for old Mr. C. Psych. A bunch of those woodsmen show up and do a fucked up ritual on him, which makes a black BOB orb emerge from his stomach. Ray understandably kind of freaks out and runs away. While driving away, he calls Phillip, presumably Phillip Jeffries, and says he thinks he killed Mr. C. Then, smash cut to the roadhouse. It's the end of the episode. Time to get played out by a real life band, everyone's favorite Lost Highway soundtrack producer, the Nine Inch Nails. Then Mr. C wakes up. It's weird though, we're only like 15 minutes into the episode. What's going on? Oh, it's 5:29 a.m. on July 16th, 1945 in White Sands, New Mexico. Do I know that from history somewhere? Oh, a nuclear bomb has gone off, and we're playing Christoph Penderecki's Threnody to the Victims of Hiroshima, one of the most discordant pieces of avant-garde music imaginable. We zoom in on the bomb and get a cavalcade of overwhelming, incomprehensible images in what I can only really describe as an assault on the senses. Then it becomes kind of fire or smoke, or maybe galaxies forming, or more bombs and volcanoes. Then we see a gas station and convenience store. We stay here for a few minutes while the camera does the fucked up, jittery, crashing graphics card effect from part 3, as smoke, light, and a bunch of those woodsmen appear around the gas station. Then we see a shape that looks like the thing that killed that couple in part 1, floating in a void, vomiting up a bunch of liquid, that BOB orb, and a bunch of eggs. Then it's back to the fire and Threnody. There's a weird gold nugget or something in there too. Then we go to that big purple sea from part 3 and a building that seems like a different building from where Coop was overlooking the sea from. Inside of that is that weird black and white space that Coop seemed to be in the season's opening scene. There's a lady swaying to some chill old-timey music. Then the guy who looks like the giant is there, and one of those electric tea kettle diving bell things gives off an alarm. The giant question mark turns it off, then walks to the nearby theater where he watches the episode so far. Then he floats up and some gold stuff leaves his mouth, which the lady with him is entranced by. The gold stuff becomes an orb with Laura in it. The lady kisses the orb and sends it to Earth via pneumatic tube. Anyway, back in New Mexico, it's now 1956. A fucked up frog moth thing crawls out of one of those eggs that got puked up. Then a young couple walk home, passing that gas station from earlier. The guy kisses the girl even though she doesn't really want to. Anyway, those woodsmen are here. They spook out a couple in a car asking for a light. Then one of them goes to the radio station, kills everyone inside, and broadcasts his incantation over the radio, which makes everyone in town pass out. Then that frog moth thing crawls into the young girl's mouth while she's passed out. Then the woodsman walks off into the desert and a horse neighs. What a normal episode.
Bro.
Lily,
Oh
what do
my
you have to
god.
say about this episode of Twin Peaks?
It okay. so much, obviously. For now, I'll say that there was something in here that provoked a physical reaction
Yeah.
that not only has TV never provoked, I didn't know could be provoked in a human body in general. It did this
Oh my
weird, like,
god.
nervous system thing to me.
Okay, please say more.
I'll get there pretty soon. I'll get there pretty soon.
Okay.
Um, Other than that, holy shit, just like, what a way to make the politics explicit, I guess.
Mm.
Like we've been talking this whole time, especially in the original run, about how, America is beautiful, but it's cursed and there's violence. And it's like the whole time he was kind of holding this ideal America that David Lynch, and presumably Mark Frost believed in,
Mhm.
um, while acknowledging that it had issues and was like a bit artificial. Here it feels like that has just been exploded. I don't know how we could ever go
Yeah.
back to, and maybe we still will,
Yeah.
who knows? I don't know how we could ever go back to the idyllic small town after this. It feels like such a condemnation of just like everything that
Yeah.
America is.
Yeah.
Um, and I have like big nonfiction and philosophy thoughts on this episode, but again,
Mm.
maybe we can get into that later. For now, I will just say this wonderful phrase from Ruth Wilson Gilmore, the like abolitionist scholar.
Fuck.
She
Oh, you
says,
came fucking ready. Hell yeah.
So I first watched this episode like 2 weeks ago when we were going to record. So I've
Yeah.
been ruminating on it
Yeah.
nonstop. She says, "Where life is precious, life is precious."
Yeah.
Um, and what she means by that is like you can't expect people to treat life with inherent value as if that is not what has been modeled to
Mhm.
them and if their life has not been given a
Mhm.
preciousness. I think about how the sight of this inconceivable nuclear, yeah, like quantum violence, what like then I think totally planted the seeds for
Mhm.
something as simple as this teenage boy not paying attention to what this girl
Yeah.
wants or is comfortable with. Um, Her life, his life, none of them are precious. They all probably fucking have like radiation poisoning.
Yeah. It's so good.
Uh, okay, your turn.
Okay. So, I mean, I think this is my favorite episode of Twin Peaks. I think it kind of has to be cuz
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nothing else is like this. Like honestly, like my when I was about to watch this, like you, I had friends that were like, "Ooh, part 8, that's a big one." And I remember I was watching
Uh-huh.
it on and it didn't do it for me this time, but like Plex's like gave it a little episode description that was like Mr. C gets out of jail in 1945, evil is born into the world. And I was like, well, that's a bit of a spoiler. And then I was like, well, that kind of is what the episode is. But like,
Yeah.
it's crazy that he got this on weekly television.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
like, you know, it's truly crazy. Like, yes, it was like Showtime and everything we've said, but like, I can't imagine. Like, he must have pulled every like piece of like the clout that Twin Peaks had accrued and like his connections to
Mhm.
be like, yeah, I'm gonna make a weekly TV show, and one episode of it is gonna be 10 minutes of a kind of normal episode of Twin Peaks, which is already pretty weird. And then we're gonna put the Nine-Inch Nails and like all of the
The
and then it's just gonna be a half hour of my experimental short film about like expressing through like every like sensation that is possible to communicate on television the overwhelming like inchoate evil of nuclear weapons and
It's
then
fucking crazy.
we're like doing the backstory of Bob. It's crazy. Like my
Mm.
reaction when I watched this of just having to like talk to everyone I knew and be like, can you believe how fucking crazy this episode is why I needed to do this podcast with you, you know?
Ah!
Like
Wow, so the nuclear bomb is the birth of this show as well.
Yeah, like it's
Huh.
this is what I mean when I was saying that if I when I thought too much about Twin Peaks: Return, I would just need to walk around my apartment and be like, what the fuck? How did he do that? It's
Dude, yeah.
and like as far as like the Bob backstory, I just think it's like okay, the
Mhm.
idea of like Bob was birthed into the world when they did the nuclear bomb test because that was so evil that it made Bob enter the world. When you say it, could be so boring. You know what I mean?
How
Like,
so?
like it could be so easy to deliver that in a way that feels like it
Mm.
deflates the mystery and like it's very easy for me to imagine the like treatment for this episode being handed to the like creative team of the Valley of Mid in season 2 and us hating it and being like we didn't need to know that Bob came from the nuclear bomb like and I think like the idea of the return I really love what you
Uh-huh.
said about like how are we ever going to actually go back to the idyllic small town now, like the return is
Yeah.
impossible, you never cross the same river twice or whatever, like
Mm,
you never really
mm.
come home, like but like
Yeah.
to
Oh,
to to
wow.
to give people like I think there's such an expectation of like and we're going to learn the origin story or whatever, but doing that
Yeah.
in this way that is like so far removed from like wiki brain like and hears the facts of what happened and is just this like crazy experiential like I, I can't think of any other way to actually communicate to the viewer a nuclear bomb is the most evil thing imaginable and it's so overwhelming like that it creates Bob, or like opens a hole in the world that he can come in through or whatever, but
Yeah.
like you could have Wyndham Earl tell us that in words and it would be boring as fuck. And the only way to like actually communicate that is by making us experience
Mm.
it by the nuclear bomb
Yeah.
like tearing through time and breaking the episode open for half an hour,
It's so complete, like, it is so much more than it sounds like, actually.
Yeah.
The nuclear imagery, like, we see this the mushroom cloud fucking everywhere. It's such a
Yeah.
we we see it in this show in, like, a casual office background. That's how much of a
Mhm.
like, we have, like, a we'll get into this, but, like, we have, like, a heuristic for that. We see it, and we know what it is, and that it
Mhm.
kinda ceases to become something so shocking.
Mhm.
Um, this episode really, like, breaks that by just making you sit with it for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, there's so much to say.
Whew.
Do we wanna get into the scene by scene?
I guess so, yeah. So, for the first couple scenes, it's kind of a normal episode of Twin Peaks, which is also, I think, what makes it so crazy that it starts with like, and
Yeah.
here's some normal plot, and then we cut. But so at first, it's just a direct follow up of where we saw Mr. C last episode. He got a rental car because of his McCluskey Gambit, and he's driving out with it with Ray. Um, we get a very brief scene of him being like, "Oh, and there are tracking devices on the car," which I guess his cell phone can like it's funny, he, like, puts in the license plate of the truck in front of them as if that, like, that's how tracking devices work. Is 'cause they're like, "Yeah, we're tracking this other car now because of our phone being" like, the
Wait,
phone
hold
tells us
up.
about the new license plate. Yeah.
Is that what okay, I couldn't figure out what the little plot here was at all. It didn't seem like
Yeah.
one thing flowed into the next whatsoever. There's tracking devices in the car. We can see them on the phone. We're
Uh-huh.
gonna throw the phone out the window. We're gonna put the like, what the none of that none of that flows
Yeah.
from the previous thing.
It's it's nonsense technology time again.
Is
But yeah,
one of the tracking devices is called Fire?
yeah, it says
Anyway, sorry.
C Fire Docs, which at first I was like,
Huh.
does that mean his car license plate is C Fire, which would be really funny. But I
Mm,
guess it was the
the
rental
random
car
rental
anyway.
car.
But yeah, it's like he puts in the license plate of the truck in front of them, and then they're redirected to that truck, which is kind of silly. But sure, whatever, man.
Hmm.
Um, so the Ray is like, damn, it's crazy. How'd you do this? It's crazy. We were both in the same place, and that makes me think did Mr. C flip his car and get arrested on purpose to kill Ray? Because,
Hmm.
like, he knows from Daria that Ray was double crossing him. And, like, was this all just. Like, this would kind of explain also why he, happened to know the very particular incriminating past of, like, that particular prison warden.
Oh my god.
But
Huh.
yeah, it feels like it was all just a thing. But the other big piece of information here is, Ray's like, or Mr. C's like, you have something I want. And Ray's like, yeah, I got it memorized, all those numbers. But it's my life insurance. Or he doesn't say that, but I'm like, yeah, it's got it memorized because if he writes it down, you could just be killed and take it. Um,
Yeah, totally.
and and he's like, oh, but maybe it's worth some money. Haha.
Maybe a lot of money.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. He calls him Mr. Cooper in this scene.
It's true.
Is like, yeah, I don't know. People have been really calling him Mr. C, so that's just like an interesting note. And then we get the
Well,
like. Oh, go ahead.
I remember, like, in one of the first couple episodes, someone calls him Mr. C, and so we've been going with that. But have we heard him described by any name
I guess
since
that's
then? I don't
true. I'm actually not sure.
I feel like Mr. C is like an informal
Yeah,
kind of thing. Regardless.
yeah. But it is interesting that like, at the very least, I think it's interesting for like what is Dale Cooper and like what is Mr. C's relationship to him that he is like, yeah, I'm Mr. Cooper. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it continues to be interesting. So they kind of pull off the highway. We get some of Angelo Badalamenti's spookiest synths that hit as the 25-mile-an-hour sign comes into view. The most ominous
Mm.
speed limit.
Yeah, it's this great, like, kind of low, airy, kind of breathy thing. I really
Yeah.
like it.
So and the other thing is like this whole sequence is so dark. Like the whole screen is almost a void.
Yes, I had my brightness all the way up,
Yeah.
and I'm, like, inside in my not very brightly
Yeah.
lit apartment, and I could barely see a lot of it. Is
Yeah.
this I guess this is also like a 2010s TV aesthetic. No one fucking lights anything anymore.
Yeah, it feels like that's a part of it, but like this one especially is like it's really like they are lit only by the little bits of the like dash that they would be lit by. It's really striking.
I really I feel so misdirected by this scene. So, like, this whole conversation, I'm thinking, like, they're both playing nice, but deep down, Ray knows that
Mhm.
Cooper is gonna maybe kill him. And
Mhm.
so he's, like, really nervous in his, like, physical acting, and I felt smart for noticing that, I guess.
Mhm.
He's, like, kinda trying not to make eye contact. He's, like,
Mhm.
clenching his jaw and kinda, like, pursing his lips. So this was me thinking that Ray feels really vulnerable, which is not like I'm sure he does to an extent, but he also
Mhm.
feels very smart for his little plan.
Yeah.
Um, and so the next scene comes as like a total shock to me.
Yeah,
Should I hit
please,
it?
please.
Okay. So Ray is very conspicuously like once I get into a dark area, I gotta take a leak. Can you pull
Mhm.
over? He walks out of the car, he, like, comes, like, maybe 20 or 30 feet away and pulls a gun from his back pocket. And here I'm thinking, "Oh, Ray, you think you're so slick." But Mr. C is, like, the scariest guy in the world. He's obviously gonna get your ass.
Yeah.
Mr. C pulls a gun out of his car's, like, the glove compartment, walks out, points it at Ray, and says, "I need those codes, Ray." Ray turns around, and he's like, he says some TV bullshit, who knows what it is, like, "Yeah, I bet you do," or whatever. Mr. C fires his gun because now they're both pointing guns at each other. Mr. C fires his gun, and it's fucking empty. Ray shoots Mr. C, boom, 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 boom. First of all, I think this was ill-advised because he was gonna extort this guy out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, but whatever. Um But just the fact of this happening is, like, such a shock, right? Because Mr.
Yeah.
C has seemed like this totally invulnerable force. He flipped his car
Yeah.
and nothing happened. He went to jail and he just, like, got out really easily. Um, and then,
Mhm.
oh then,
Mhm.
the coolest special effects thing ever happens, which is that these, like, maybe a dozen or more of these woodsman dudes kind of fade in at like
Yeah.
50% opacity out of the ether,
Yeah.
and they come to like press on Mr. C's like chest or just press on the ground where he is because they're not actually in the same, like, physical shot.
Mhm.
And then others that I guess are physically there, like, smear the blood from his
Mhm.
bullet wound onto his face and, like, darken his face like that. Mm, Ray is in slow motion at this point, and he struggles to move. His eyes are kind of fixed on all this happening. He's, like, helpless on the ground, and then Jesus Christ, this is, like, the second easiest scene to
I
recap is the
know.
worst part.
Yeah.
He eventually, like, pulls himself up and drives away and is like, "What the fuck?" Oh, and also, some sort of tumorous lump
Yeah.
emerges, and it has Bob's face on it. This shit
Yeah.
is so crazy.
It's crazy. And it's crazy because we're like 8 minutes into the episode, and if the rest of the episode wasn't what it was, this would already be like one of the weirdest things in the show so far. You know? Like, it's I love the effect of, like, when we see Ray, like, the shots of the woodsman kind of jumping and lurching around are just overlaid over him. Like, it is just, like, the one shot at 50% opacity overlaid over the shot of Ray there is, like, such a great, again, like, way of doing that effect that just feels so unnatural in a really intentional way. And, like, yeah, it's like what they're doing to Mr. C, it's like halfway between like they're grabbing at him and like a ritual dance, they're like smearing him with the blood. It's really crazy.
It seems like they're panicking and trying to bring him back, although it's not exactly clear how they're like, how that is being accomplished.
Yeah.
I do wanna talk about this, like, special effects
Uh-huh.
moment. So in the original run of the show, the effects were often, like, very straightforward in a way that was, like, corny, but also fun and economical.
Mhm.
Like, Bob's face would just, like, fade in over things, you know?
Yeah.
Here, it's definitely not realistic. It's not going for well, I mean, how do you display, like, a ghostly spirit realistically, I
Mhm.
guess? It's actually, maybe it is a little more realistic. So I'm thinking of when Dale could tell that that one guy was lying, and it just looked like a little green light flash on his face, you know? Like,
Mm.
so it was actually so minimal. There
Mhm.
was no, like, sound cue with it or anything. Um, this feels similar to that, where it's not, like, trying to look the way that movies look. It's not trying to look how, like, ghosts are represented in the movies. Um, it's much simpler than that, but actually that maybe that is more realistic. It's more convincing, I guess,
Mhm.
in the lack of spectacle.
Well, it makes Ray look like I think there's something about Ray is so lost and like in over his head, like, literally kind of like he's submerged by the shot of the woodsman, like, being laid over him, you know? Like, the
Yeah.
reality where this is what happens is now, like, superimposed on him in a way, you know?
Mm.
It I think does such a good job of being like, you're not supposed to be here, dude. You don't know what you're doing," you know?
Yeah, you're from a CW crime show. This is a
Yeah,
whole other thing.
yeah.
Um, I really like how it puts him into slow motion, right? Like,
Mhm.
and he's on the ground. It reminded me of Sarah Palmer in Lonely Souls.
Oh, yeah.
How
Absolutely.
she's crawling really slowly, like struggling to move and can
Mhm.
only kind of watch the thing happen.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, anyway, he eventually pulls himself out of this and drives away. And even then it's like it's really eerie.
Yeah.
So his car kicks up a ton of dust. But then even after, like, that would have realistically settled, there's just, like, a shit ton of, like, smoke or
Yeah.
fog or
Yeah.
something. Um, I guess fog not really being something you would see in, like, what the fuck is this? The deserts of South Dakota? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what biome this is, but it feels very, I mean, Twin Peaks the town, right?
Yeah. Well, and just, like, it takes a long time winding it down. Like, when he drives away, there's, like, a full minute of just,
Yeah.
like, the flashing light on the smoke, and,
Mhm.
apparently what's playing is a very, very, very slowed down, recording of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, which is fun because we get a big shot of the moon,
Oh,
but just,
we
like, a
do get a
full
big shot of
minute
the
of
moon.
just, like, of it winding down, which again is, like, we're starting to be like, what the fuck is happening in this episode, you know?
Yeah, the moon feels like maybe a bit of a I think we got a couple shots of the moon before things go
Mhm.
sideways, and it's like the first I knew basically that a lot of this episode was gonna be in black and white despite my predictions at the end of last episode. Um, and so the moon made me think like, "Oh, are we doing it now?" 'Cause it is
Mhm.
basically a black and white shot. Anyway, from here, there's just like a really quick one of Ray in the car back on the highway calling Phillip, presumably Jeffries, going like, "I shot Cooper, but he's he's found some help," is what he
Yeah.
says.
It's so good.
And he tells Philip, "I saw something in Cooper. It may be the key to what all this is about." Which is interesting. Like I assume that what he's describing there is like the black kind of mass with Bob in it.
Mhm.
That's what he saw in Cooper.
Mhm.
But like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just that they couldn't like obviously they couldn't get Frank De Silva physically present, so it's not like you could represent him with a full body with a face and all that. I like how vague he is here. I like that kind of feeds into my reading of like their approach here being break away like the mental shortcuts that
Mhm.
we usually have for these things.
Mhm.
He just says, "I saw something."
Yeah.
He doesn't say like, "I saw a bunch of guys with like soot-covered faces
Yeah.
doing a resurrection." He doesn't even know what it is. I mean, this is the craziest thing this guy's ever seen in his life.
Yeah.
He's usually in like Riverdale, so you
Yeah,
know.
well, this is even at my note was like, yeah, it's kind of Tim Robinson Chair Company delivery on him again, even here. But
Ah.
yeah, it's and then we're at the roadhouse. These have usually ended the episodes, but now we're here now, 11 minutes in. It's a real smash cut from Ray being like, yeah, if he comes after me, I'll get him, where I told him I'd go. And then we see some people, getting their gear ready for like 5 seconds, and then immediately the announcer, the Roadhouse, is proud to welcome the Nine Inch Nails in what I think is the funniest joke of the whole like show. Maybe is just him being like,
The
"Yeah, the Nine Inch Nails."
the funniest joke of the whole show.
I think it might be like I think to smash cut from everything we just saw to and now the Nine Inch Nails and then it segues into everything else is really fucking funny.
It's really crazy that it's here. Also, for context, they're just 9 inch nails. They're not the 9 inch
Yeah.
nails.
Um and they play their song She's Gone Away, which was actually composed for this show. It was
That makes sense.
released in 2016 but was written for this. And so
Hmm.
um if we want we could get into some of the lyrics here.
Yeah, I would love to.
So the chorus is she's gone, she's gone, she's gone away. Two verses. Verse 1, you dig in places till your fingers bleed. Spread the infection where you spill your seed. I can't remember what she came here for. I can't remember much of anything anymore. Chorus, she's gone, she's gone away. Verse 2, a little mouth opened up inside. Yeah, I was watching on the day she died. We keep licking while the skin turns black. Cut along the length, but you can't get the feeling back.
Crazy. Okay. Spread
Yeah.
the infection where you spill your seed. Feels like both um Leland attempting to spread Bob to
Yeah.
Laura
Yeah. Yeah.
and also the bomb doing that to the earth,
Mhm.
the infection being like radiation
Mhm.
poisoning, I
Mhm.
guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, feel free to just call out to any line that jumps out
I
to
mean, the
you.
she's gone away, it really makes you think of Laura for sure. Like
For
the
sure,
the
for
the
sure.
little mouth opened up inside feels very like I mean, you wrote
Oh.
it, but like Bob's Hunger, like the everything about the violence and consumption and all this. The like the everything you're saying about like this is the return, but it's kind of also a show about how returning is impossible. Like you can't get the feeling back. Do you know like
Ooh, so
like
true.
the original Twin Peaks is just not coming back. Um
Mhm.
I think there's other things here that I'm not. I will hold on to. There are other thoughts that I'm having that I will hold on to.
Sure.
But I think
Okay,
that, like,
sure.
I
Like,
was watching on the day she died, like, it also the connection between, like, that comes right after the little mouth opened up. Like, it seems like, again, the spectacle, we're watching the violence, we're consuming it, like, the
yeah,
spectacle and the hunger being tied again feels like a big thing to me.
ties us to Leland slash
Yeah.
Bob as viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, oh, disturbing just image, the mouth opening up inside.
Yeah.
But, I wanna talk about She's Gone Away.
Mhm.
This, I guess, especially in conjunction with what's gonna come with, like, Laura as this
Mhm.
cosmic entity who is also maybe created by the nuclear blast. Um, it makes me think, and I don't I felt this strongly 1 hour ago when I was watching the episode, and I can't totally justify it now, but I will just read what I wrote. Um, the emphasis on "She's Gone Away" as, like, the chorus
Mhm.
is, mm, Laura as, like, she's been, like, a symbol of, like, hope or
Yeah.
healing, right?
Yeah.
Um, in Laura's Ghost, everyone is talking about how much they admire
Mm.
her for, like, how much she was able to not perpetuate the cycle of violence and how she could
Mhm.
stand in as, like, a symbol of hope for them, that they could, like, get through what they were going through.
Mhm.
But I guess also as, like, Laura as a literal kind of metaphysical source of
Mhm.
hope or healing in, like, the functioning of the show. You know, we've just seen this really fucked up shit.
Mhm.
Juxtaposing that with She's Gone Away is like, "Oh, this is because Laura's dead," you
Mm.
know?
It also makes me think of The Angels Are Gone, you know?
Yes, 100%.
Like, in a way, we are being put in the position that Laura was in when her angel went away.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Eh
Laura kind of being the angel as, like, a
Mhm.
later in this episode with the whole gold
Mhm.
marble thing.
And I think, like, otherwise, the big thing that really stands out to me is, like, outside of the song itself, just this feels shot much more, like, pointedly or, like, dedicatedly than the other Roadhouse scenes, and maybe that's because
Yeah.
those ones had credits running over them, but, like, we're getting, like, real action shots of, the people going off on the guitars, and also just the fact that it's 10
Yeah.
minutes into the episode means you kind of have to or, like, are drawn to really sit and watch the whole thing, and they play the whole song. It's,
Yes.
like, 4 or 5 minutes. And you really have to sit and watch the whole thing in a way that when the credits are rolling over it, you don't feel as impelled to, you know? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and it
I
is
totally agree.
it is just so destabilizing. It's crazy that it's like, a couple episodes I was like, "Yeah, what would happen if there was a roadhouse scene, like, halfway through the episode? Haha." And, like, it is that. And then it's also
Oh, you.
it's Nine Inch Nails, like, all like, they had Sharon Van Etten, but, like, a lot of these have just been like, "Yeah, and here's my son," or, the nephew of the casting director or whatever the fuck it was, you know? And this is like Nine Inch Nails are
Here's the
here.
most, like, one of the most legendary bands of the '90s. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy.
And, like, also just so
Um,
funny that in universe, yeah, they're playing The Roadhouse.
yeah, of all places.
It's
Yeah.
well, just yeah, just like I just can't get over the Nine Inch Nails. Just everything about it is just like feels tailor-made to make you be like, "What's happening? Where am I?" You know?
The Nine Inch Nails kinda lands like that line in,
The
what's
Social
it, oh,
Network?
The Straight Story.
Oh.
No. The Facebook, is that what you're
Yeah.
thinking of? Ah. No, in The Straight Story when Alvin Straight goes like, what's a Miller's Light taste like?" or whatever,
Oh,
and it's like,
yeah.
you haven't been in a bar in 20 years, you're just talking about all this kind of strangely.
Yeah. But it's just so
Um,
good that they have spent 7 episodes setting up enough of a rhythm for us to have these expectations to then just, again, kick out the legs from under us.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was reading something the other day that said, like, we've all heard The Return described as, like, an 18-hour movie.
Mhm.
I heard someone say that it is more like 9 two-hour movies where each, like,
Mm.
episode 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and so on
Mm.
are sort of self-contained, and given the first 2 episodes premiered together, that does make sense to me.
Mhm.
So, that framing kinda makes this make more sense because the end of episode 7 did not have a musical number. It had, like, a big
Yeah.
hole, a big sweeping
Yeah.
scene where a musical number would have gone. Uh, so that if we think of the first, like, 15 minutes of this episode as just the end of the last
Mm.
episode, it kind of makes a little more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah, because the rest of this is really its own thing.
yeah. Well, speaking of, we get a very quick scene, just a shot really, of Mr. C sitting up. That whatever the fuck happened, he's back.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if the song
Hmm.
brought him back, or maybe it was just, like, in the same way that that Julie Cruz number in, Lonely Souls
Yeah.
just kind of accentuates or, like, brings
Yeah.
delivers the emotion of the moment. I think maybe that's what it's trying
It
to do.
it is fun how like the Nine Inch Nails show
Mm.
like is like an extension of the Woodsman's ritual in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, one very last thing I'll say about the Nine Inch Nails thing, sorry, the Nine Inch Nails thing,
fucking kills
is,
me.
I really love, like, the projection stuff that's happening. It's this very,
Mm.
like, RGB pixels kind of look, right? You know how, like, LED displays do, like, a little vertical strip of red, green, and blue all really close together, so it looks like it's all one kinda color?
Mhm.
It's doing that, um, and it's just, I don't know, this show just David Lynch in general just has such a good eye to, like, the aesthetics of any given
Mhm.
form. It's like the graphics
Mhm.
card thing too. It's like these are like the textures of digital filmmaking that I
Mhm.
really don't see most people using.
Yeah.
I love it. That's all.
Hell yeah. So, then we have one of the funniest cuts and just like craziest cuts that I can imagine. So we see Mr. C get up, and then that's all. We don't need to see more there. Now it's a black and white desert, and it tells us it's July 16, 1945, White Sand, New Mexico, 5:29 a.m., and we get a voice counting down from 10. And I had already seen this episode before. When I watched it
Mhm.
again, like last week, when it hits 0 and the whole screen lights up
Oh my
and
god.
the threnody for Hiroshima, which I'll talk a bit more about what that is because that's a real piece, just kicks in all at once.
Yeah.
I gasped. It is
Yeah.
like genuinely overwhelming, you know?
Oh my god, yeah.
It's
Um,
crazy.
it lit up my room.
Yes.
It lit up the
Yes.
whole room I was in. It felt
Yes.
like it was here, you
Yeah.
know?
No, it's astonishing. It's crazy. Um and again, it is just like so perfectly destabilizing that like we've already had a weird episode so far. And then it's just now you're in the desert of New Mexico, 1945, and before you can like get a sense of what's happening, there's a countdown from 10, and then it fucking goes off. And it's like everything we've been saying about the special effects having a like intentional artificiality to them, that's not happening here. Like this scene feels
Mhm. Mhm.
like when you're watching an anime or like an animated show and you get to the one action bit and you're like, "Oh, that's where the animation budget went." Like this is where their CG budget went. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
there is a lot of effort being put in to make this like minute long or more even like zoom into the nuclear explosion look like a nuclear explosion. Like there's like you see the
Yeah, holy
shockwave
shit.
traveling out, you see like the multiple clouds. I love that there are like I'm just gonna screen share, honestly. Like I have it kind of
Sure.
muted, just playing. I've started having it just on the second monitor while we record to just like reference. Like there are these like sub clouds, like almost like look like lightning bolts that are like standing
They
out, like,
do look like lightning
and it
bolts.
also
Oh my
kind of
god.
looks like the sycamore trees, you know? Right? And,
Yo,
like, even, like, the
nice.
spreading circle of the blast kinda looks like the like, fucked up little pool there at, Glastonbury Grove.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
It's crazy, and we zoom into it, and throughout this, the Threnody for Hiroshima is playing. I'll just say a bit about that. Um,
Yeah,
this
please.
is a real piece of music. It's by a Polish composer. It is called, translated as either Threnody 2 or Threnody for the Victims of Hiroshima. It is for 52 string instruments, and it is dedicated, to the people that were killed or, survivors with like nuclear poisoning of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, a like fucking horrible war crime. Um, it's for 24 violins, 10 violas, 10 cellos, 8 double basses, and it is
Oh my
kind of
god.
my understanding. I haven't actually looked through it. I do play violin, so I could probably look through the sheet music and like really take
Oh,
a
hell yeah.
like understand it, but it's I'm just reading from the Wikipedia right now, but it takes an aleatoric
Sure.
approach, offering the players a choice of techniques and demanding irregular degrees of vibrato. So it kind of just everybody go crazy a bit,
Oh,
of like
wow.
decide how
Oh,
like everyone
wow.
decide individually how like you're going what technique you're going to use to play this note, or like what microtonal variations you're doing on
Mm.
this note, or like vibrato is like the oh thing, like
Yeah,
like which
beautiful.
comes through because it is like all of a sudden 52 string instruments are just fucking screaming at you all at once. You know? It's
It's so hideous. It's so, like
yeah.
it just completely puts you on edge. It sounds like every muscle in your body tensing up
Yeah.
and, like, trembling in its own little way.
Yeah. And even this is a lot, and then we zoom into the mushroom cloud, and then we get I've written a bit just like some of the series of kinds of images that we get as we zoom in and the Threnody keeps playing. We get like a bunch of white dots like on a black background just kind of flying around like insects, or we could then get it's like an orange background and it's black dots flying around, and then like black lines like almost like if it was like a bunch of like daddy long leg spiders, like lines
Oh,
and dots,
yes.
and all just like moving around on a white background, and like all of this just like at such a chaotic, like so fast and chaotic and incomprehensible. Then it's like again the white dots, the black background, like look like sparks almost, like
Or, like,
being
bubbles, like air bubbles in
yeah,
water.
yeah. And then it just gets like crazier and more hectic, and like everything is flying around. And what's so cool about this is it just again in the way that the episode so far has been like it it's like the season so far at the beginning was really disorienting, and then it started to get into a rhythm that we understood, and then this episode happens and says no, don't get used to that rhythm, it's new crazy shit now. And like even this episode like started like a normal episode, and now this is happening. It's like whenever we start to feel used to one crazy image, it then just cuts
Mhm.
instantly with no ceremony to something else that like makes it impossible to like keep a analytical train of thought between them. And then we're just getting
Yes.
like just 3 seconds of like raging orange fire, and then cut immediately to like these explosions but in like purple and red, and like it looks like it's in space, like
This is
galaxies
look,
forming.
I really struggle to interpret this.
Yeah, I mean, like it really does, like at this point it feels like it's like we're getting like debris of like supernovas or something. Like we're flying through them. It feels like the end of
Yeah.
2001, A Space Odyssey. Have you ever seen that movie?
No,
Honestly,
actually.
it's really good. I watched it like a year or two ago. It really holds up. Um
It's playing at the Cinematheque, next month.
oh
I might
fuck
wanna
yeah.
catch it.
Um
Yeah.
so and then there's like a shot of like what looks like a wave crashing. But then all of a sudden that wave crashing becomes like what looks like a fire. Like it's truly just like and through it all, the strings just fucking screaming,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's like the best description I could give of it. What do you have to say about all this happening?
Holy shit, okay, so what I was saying earlier about like mental heuristics, mental like shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
The mushroom cloud is this totally ubiquitous image, and I think because of that, I felt numb to it. Like,
Mm.
I have intellectually understood for a long time that America did not need to drop the nuclear bomb,
Mhm.
let alone twice in
Mhm.
Japan. Um, I can give you, like, reasons for that. I can think about and feel sad about the people who died. It's never this just, like, snapped into place the idea of that as, like, crossing a barrier that
Mhm.
had been previously just un not only uncrossed, but uncrossable, you
Mhm.
know? Um, it just, like, it broke breaking atoms is like breaking the fabric of reality,
Mhm.
right? Okay, I'm getting carried away, but what I wanted to say about the mushroom cloud itself is basically that, like, holding on it so long just gives you a space, especially with that crazy, crazy music going,
Mhm.
to, like, actually sit with this and
Yeah.
actually think,
Yeah.
"Okay, the world that has, like, people having conversations and, like, little cars and stuff is also the world where this happens."
Mhm.
Um, oh, it makes me fucking sick. So as all of these images that you've just gone through kind of attack our senses, I kind of feel like, first of all, this is, like, individual atoms being, like, thrown into
Mm.
chaos. I don't actually know the chemistry or the physics of the nuclear bomb in any detail, but it feels like all of these little particles are just, like, things that had been stable but are now disturbed, maybe forever, you
Mhm.
know? Um, and it also gives me a strong feeling of, like, falling, I guess I would say.
Mhm.
I just felt like I was falling through all of this.
Yeah.
Um, I do have even more to say about this, but I feel like I should take my turn. Do you have
So
anything?
it's like so I think I think I will say a little bit more about the uh like the TSTV stance on the historical like bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Um Neither of us are like capital H historians, and this is a television show about Twin Peaks, but I think I feel confident speaking for both of us that like the popular narrative that like using the nuclear bomb was like somehow necessary to induce Japanese surrender or prevented a land invasion. I reject that.
Yes, same.
I think we both put ourselves in the kind of like historical camp of like this was done as a like callous display of imperial power so that the US
Yeah.
could establish itself as the imperial power after World War II. Like this was done
Yeah.
to announce to the Soviet Union and the rest of the world that the US wanted to come out of World War II on top. And like the number of people that died and the number of people like that lived the rest of their lives, like hundreds of the thousands of people like with lifelong effects from this were were like killed and maimed and like given nuclear radiation poisoning basically like for the theater of like imperial power. And it is like not only was it strategically not necessary with the Soviet
Mhm.
Union like having entered the war, it was like one of the most evil things that has happened in the past century.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
And I would say in terms of, like, discrete single incidents in the Earth's history,
yeah, like
I'm reading this, the death toll from both bombings is somewhere around 300,000 people from 2 bombs that were dropped, like,
yeah.
in minutes.
So like, it's I think that there's like when we talk about the horror of the nuclear bomb as it exists in this episode, I think there's like the like horror at just the concept of it, like in a kind of Oppenheimer way of like we are breaking apart reality, we are breaking apart atoms. We've made a bomb that can kill that many people and like cause
Mhm.
permanent long-term illness and injury to that many lives in such a short amount of time, like in the abstract, is
Mhm.
a horrifying thing. And I think it's worth saying that beyond that is the horror of like how it was specifically deployed in such a callous, not strategically necessary, strict, like in all those ways, for no reason other than for like the theory or the theater of imperial power. And like shit, if we want to connect that to Twin Peaks,
Mhm.
how's that for like the fucking spectacle, like the shock and awe spectacle of it all, you know?
Oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah.
So
Um,
yeah.
I think, like, the nuclear bomb is a very obviously, like, visually shocking and, like, novel thing, but I also think the specific presentation here, even before language, is, like, it feels so, like, incontrovertible. I would love to know how, like, a good old American patriot who thinks that dropping the bombs were necessary, how they would react to this scene, because
Mm,
it feels like you can only really do that now through these, like, abstractions, like,
yeah.
yeah, well, it was a good, like, military strategy. Fucking look at the thing.
Mhm.
Look at this. Like, there's you can't actually see this and defend it as it is presented.
And, like, I do think it's important that, like, this is we get the first nuclear test, like, going off in July 1945. It's pulling the threnody to the victims of Hiroshima, but it is, like I think the show in, like, this episode is more concerned with that kind of abstract horror and the evil of it than the
Yeah.
direct political, like, how it was deployed against Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now,
That's true, that's true.
but, I think being the podcast that we are, that's what we have to say about it. But I
Yeah.
think it really this bit does such a good job at like, I've said it on previous episodes, I think, like the role of surrealism in this show being to like capture when the emotional horror can't be expressed
Yeah.
realistically. And
Yeah.
truly, like, I can't think of a better way to really capture, even just in the abstract, the horror at the idea of a nuclear bomb than to spend a full 10 minutes of just having the most disorienting, like, assaulting images and sounds possible, you know?
Yeah. God, yeah.
And then we get in another, like, terrifyingly unceremonious cut, we're somewhere else that matters to us quite a lot, and
Quite a
I can
lot.
tell because, on the notes for the scene, my first note is just gas station, convenience store, and your first note is the dispensing store because we clearly both had the like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV gif of just like seeing convenience store and being like, "Oh shit, I can't even look at what I'm typing," you know?
Oh my god, yes. Yes, 100%. Oh
The
my god.
convenience store, of course, what we think about as of where there was the fucked up spirits gathering in Fire Walk with Me above the convenience
Yeah,
store.
above the convenience store. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a callback.
We see this and yeah, it's doing the like it looks like they took a shot of it and then like some light and smoke going through and people walking through and just kind of put the frames of that shot on shuffle basically.
Yeah, basically,
Like it keeps going
basically.
back and forth. It's crazy.
This is so
Yeah, please,
fantastic.
please, please tell me things about this.
Okay, just to, like, describe it in a little bit more detail, it at first seems like there is, like, lightning going off inside the convenience store, and then afterwards seems like there's lightning happening, outside, like, in the world.
Mhm.
Um, the camera at some point starts going in and out of
Oh
focus in
my
this really
god,
jittery,
yeah.
also chopped up way.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so when I say that something provoked, like, a physical reaction I didn't know I could have, this is it. Um, essentially, it moves at such a crazy rhythm, so unpredictable that I caught myself breathing in sync with it and, like, as a result, totally hyperventilating and, like,
Yeah.
forgetting how to breathe even when the scene was over.
God.
This was not like that I was feeling anxiety. This is that I was, like, fucking physically syncing up with it. It was so crazy.
Yeah. Like every time I've watched this episode, I've just been like, for something that is like 10, 20 minutes of crazy abstract imagery, like I can't tear my eyes away. It's just so gripping. And the
Yeah.
way that it keeps jumping around from one image to another, and like the way that this stuff with the convenience store just keeps shaking and jittering through different things, it feels like you can't look away for a second because you'll miss something. Because you have no idea what could then come up for like 2 seconds and then be gone completely, you know?
Yes, 100%. The lightning, the woodsman, the sudden handheld super shaky cam for like 5
Yeah.
seconds. What I take away from all this is that it is saying that there is no way to adequately depict what is happening here.
Yeah.
I think of it like the elephant's foot at Chernobyl, also similarly
Mm.
like a radiation-based horror, which if I remember right, um, was difficult to photograph because it would irradiate the film that you captured it
Oh,
on.
wow. Just for anyone, I actually wasn't aware that this is what it's called, but the elephant's foot was the name given to the massive corium beneath reactor 4 of the Chernobyl power plant when it had like its disaster meltdown.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh wow. I searched elephant's foot Chernobyl and it is giving me the thumbnail of the elephant's foot nuclear engineer reacts. uh, we do live in a sick culture is the thing.
Yeah, no, no, we're not well, for sure. Basically, I know that, like, radiation has a way of fucking with cameras.
Mhm.
Um, there's a specific thing, even with, like, current iPhone cameras, I think, where if you photograph something that is super radioactive, it'll just, like, flip the switch or a little,
Mm.
like, bit flip or something, individual pixels,
Oh,
so that
wow.
there will be these little bright spots in the image. It breaks the way that we capture reality. Obviously, this is, like, super my shit because I've been spending the last 6
Mhm.
months on, like, camera-themed videos. The one I just put out, which I don't know if, people have seen, it's about cameras breaking as a result of, like, complex movement in
Mhm.
nature. This feels like the darkest version of that,
Yeah.
especially with the going in and out of focus. My thought was, like, that this convenience store ceases to become like a fixed point in
Mm.
space, you know? You can't photograph it because there's not really like a where anymore in such a simple way. Everything has been thrown into chaos. Everything is moving
Mhm.
all the time. My last thought here is about like the flow of time thing. We've been talking a lot in this whole show about how the violent forces have been likened to directors and
Mm.
filmmakers. Like spotlights appear when violence is happening.
Mhm.
And the flow of time is something that is like controlled by the director. Um, and it's something that Laura kind of like slips out of as she becomes like subject to more and more violence and trauma. This also feels like okay, I'm struggling to put this into words because this is basically what I'm writing about right now, like the flow of time in
Mhm.
the show. A continuous thing in Twin Peaks is that the events of the future can reach back to infect even the
Mm.
past. The way that like Sarah Palmer gets these premonitions,
Mhm.
the way that Laura seems to know exactly when she's going to
Mhm.
die, even though she like logically shouldn't. It feels like the violence is moving in both directions here, is basically
Mm.
what's happening.
Mhm.
It feels like the nuclear bomb is like retroactively moving into the past because of like the cosmic or like quantum scale that it's working on.
Mhm. Mhm.
It just there's no before and after. This is just like something that is possible and it is something that is.
Yeah.
And that's the closest I can get right now. There's more about this with like when the woodsmen come into play,
Yeah.
but there's the Lily takeaway.
God, it's
Please
so
tell me your
good.
thoughts on this.
I just have like a few other notes on like specific things. Um,
Yeah, please.
for a moment, we see that there are stacks of cans, like, in the window of the store. Um,
Oh, I didn't notice
which
this.
makes me think of the creamed corn, in Fire Walk with Me when Mike pulls up, he's like, "Well, I had it canned above the store."
Oh my god, above the you shit.
Yeah, like, the pain and suffering, like, being canned from, like, the nuclear explosion, and again, even if this is just the test, like, yeah, like, it reaches forwards in time to, like, extract the pain and suffering, like, from the future and the past at the same time is really good. The other thing, it is my, like, loose understanding that, when they did these nuclear tests, they did build, like, test towns, like, they built,
Mhm.
like, houses and convenience stores and whatever to see how they would react to the nuclear explosion. And it feels like not impossible that this is somehow like or like there's a read that this convenience store here is like one of the test towns that was made as a part of that. Um,
Uh-huh.
but we'll see something a bit later that complicates that. And the other
Okay.
thing actually
Yeah,
to go
true.
back to when we see the like the fire in the galaxies or what looks like supernovas and galaxies and whatever like in space, I think it makes me think of like I mean, one, space has been a whole thing in the show in a lot of ways, and the idea of like space somehow being where like uh, like the signals are coming from, like we saw that that's
Oh
where Dale was
yeah.
in that moment, like that space
Yeah.
is in some way like overlapping with the like spirit world. And honestly, it also makes me think of this is kind of just something I'm taking to it, but like the saying of like every life is a universe. It comes from the Mishnah, the second century compendium of early rabbinic interpretations of the Torah. Mainly, I know it frankly as like a is something that has like been taken up by like Jewish Voices for Peace and like various like anti-apartheid and anti like genocide of Gaza like Jewish groups. But like there is something about what you're saying of like we're seeing the atoms being split open, but like in the, like, fury of the bomb is, like, the suffering of universes. I don't know, there's something there, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah, all those explosions absolutely feel like that. I kind of felt just like again, intuitively and in my bones that these people walking around were
Mhm.
either atoms knocked loose or
Yeah.
like personifications of the little mini explosions. So I guess it's kind of saying that it did this on every scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then we get another cut to something else that is, again, like, it is not letting us stay on any one, like, place or shot enough to get comfortable, because now we're brought to a big empty void. And in the void is an indistinct figure that looks kind of like the thing that killed that couple in part 2. Either part end of part 1 or part 2. I don't remember which
Oh,
one.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it pukes out a bunch of stuff. We have seen puking be important before, um, like when Dougie and Mr. C were puking stuff up when they were like, gonna try to be brought back to the Black Lodge. Um, and this puke travels through the void, and in it we see a bunch of little eggs and an orb with Bob's face on it. What do you have to say about this?
Um, okay. The only way I can really rationalize this is that this is like we were talking about things on like the person as universe level, the atomic
Mhm.
level, the big scale, small scale. I feel like this might be zooming out even further than like simple
Hmm.
physical universe reality. This is like a higher dimensional or something view of what's happening here.
Mhm.
This is like another representation of the blast. I guess like so this figure could be like a god or creator entity
Mhm. Say more.
that well, I don't know, it's just vomiting out all this stuff.
What is it creating?
It is well, I think like this. if this is a response to or a different manifestation, let's say this is a different representation of the nuclear
Mhm.
blast. It's like the same thing from a different reference point.
Mhm.
Um, I could see this also creating other things, I guess,
Mhm.
also having created the universe in some similar
Mm.
fashion. But I like this is me grasping at straws. This is me doing my very best. As far as what it is physically creating, it is some weird gel
Uh-huh.
in the little eggs and a golden blob and Bob.
Or do we see it make the golden blob? We see the golden blob, but it's unclear. We don't actually necessarily see it coming from this thing. But
I thought what was happening was that we were zooming into the gel stuff and then the golden blob emerged in there, but I'm not
it
certain of
is
this.
it, it is unclear. It feels to me, and like I'm gonna say this, and this is not again like a definitive read by any means. Like the sense, this is like including when I first watched this. It's like this thing was out in its dimension, and the
Huh.
nuclear bomb like pierced a hole in the world that this stuff could get through.
Oh,
Like because we know
oh.
that the egg that is in the puke is the egg that that weird little frog moth thing crawls out of. Like as if
Mhm.
this is something that is like birthing these evils, and the like reality
Sure.
breaking nature of the nuclear bomb brought that evil into our world. In,
Yeah, I can get with that. I can get with that.
um but and again, as like if that's what's suggested here as the Bob backstory, what a great fucking way to give that to us that is not doesn't feel like sitting down and watching a PowerPoint about the origin story of something, you know?
100%, absolutely.
And my favorite part about that is like we get that and it's like a 20-second shot and then we're immediately back to the fire and the Threnody is back. And it's like again, we are given no time to sit with it before we're just right back there. And it's true that we zoom into the vomit and then we're there, but it doesn't feel to me like we're that's going inside it. It feels like it's we're just wrenched back here
Oh.
now. And
Oh,
and
sure.
also I took several lines of notes while not looking at my keyboard because I couldn't rip my eyes away. So it's just looked like no, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Um, but we do see like it's like these fire explosions, but it almost like there's a bit where it looks like you're looking up from underwater at the surface of water, you know? Um, like
Oh, yeah.
and then like we see this, yeah, gold blob descend, which feels like connected but not quite the same as the gold Laura orb. You know what it kind of looks like is the little gold nugget that Dougie turned into when he got like disintegrated.
Yes, 100%. It's interesting to draw, but it is so similar to Laura's thing still. It's like a weird, unexpected parallel between Dougie and Laura, which doesn't
Yeah.
feel like I don't know how
Yeah.
to square that.
Yeah.
Is this maybe this is just what a soul looks like?
Yeah, maybe. Um and then we get like this void through which like a million little red like small marble-sized orbs are flying through. I think you wrote and I also wrote like is this like blood cells? Um
Yeah, which also kind of feeds into the whole like this is chaos at every scale
yeah.
or violence at every
God, and
scale
it's just
thing.
it doesn't let us settle with one image before it's like, no, and now it's this other God, it's so good. And then
No fucking
we're over
kidding.
the big ocean, the big purple ocean that we saw from part 3. Um,
Yeah.
so actually I guess you technically claimed this, so take us away.
Yeah, okay, so we're kind of fading back into, if not reality, then like events that flow logically from one to the other. So it feels a little more recapable. Um, we're in this like immense purple sea that we saw in episode 3, part 3. Um, we just kind of whoosh through it for a long time,
Mhm.
and then we arrive at this enormous, kind of very smooth surfaced metal building, like
Mhm.
really, really enormous.
Mhm.
Um,
Like we
it is
climb up this
inconceivable to
cliff
me.
first too, yeah.
Yeah, it's really high up, it's true. I have no sense of how this building would be used by anything,
Mhm.
really. Um, but anyway, we kind of zoom in through this like big rectangular hole in one of the
Mhm.
walls. And then we're in there and more stuff happens. But do we have any like big purple sea thoughts for the moment?
Oh, I see you have one.
Yeah, you talked about the sea below everything being like the unified field
Mhm.
from transcendental
Mhm.
meditation. And I'm very interested in that. Like that feels I still don't really know what that like is,
So,
but
like, I don't have the deepest understanding of this, really, again, just from, like, learning enough about it, just from, like, watching YouTube videos and stuff and, like, reading
mm,
random stuff, like, because of how much David Lynch is into it, but I know that, like, broadly, transcendental meditation, being is consciousness. Uh, if you meditate and clear your mind of thoughts, you get to the pure consciousness that is like beneath the world of like thought obstructing pure consciousness is that pure consciousness that you access by clearing your mind. And a common metaphor for it that David Lynch uses, at least, is the idea of like a sea. And like this is what they call the unified field, that like beneath
mhm,
like the material reality and our thoughts is this like pure unified consciousness underlaying everything. And David Lynch often metaphorizes it as a sea, and he's often talked about getting ideas as like clearing his mind so he can get the big fish down deep in the sea of consciousness that like come up
right.
uh like unconsciously, as it were, like when you're not using conscious thought.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you for explaining. I'll admit that like my analysis going forward doesn't completely gel with that,
Hmm.
but it does feel worth
I mean,
keeping in mind.
I don't think it needs to be a one-to-one thing by any means.
Sure. I'm just gonna write down something super quick to remember for like a scene or two from
Mm,
now to bring up.
totally. Other things I will say about this building. I mean, one, just the scale is crazy. Like it is portrayed as being unimaginably enormous in a way that maybe this was the same building that Dale was looking out of earlier. Genuinely unclear. Like a different part of it. And then the other thing that I will say is that there are like things coming out of the top of the building. They're only like kind of at the edge of the frame when we see them, but like I took a screenshot and I'm zooming way in to
Oh.
uh try to get at them. It's like there's like columns or like lightning rods almost um at the top of this. When I zoom in on it, it kind of looks like there's like a bunch of those little like weird diving bell electricity things on the top of this, each of which have like either a chain or like honestly kind of looks like a like sine wave coming out
Okay.
off of them. Um,
Oh, can you send me the screenshot?
yeah, absolutely. Here, I'll maybe I'll just
Thanks.
screen share me having this open in my
Yeah,
like
totally.
this is the building, and then when you zoom
Oh.
way in, you see these things. Like there's like a whole bunch
Oh
of
my
them, and they have
god.
these like
Oh shit.
chains or again sine waves, Twin Peaks of it all, like coming off of the top
The
of
Twin Peaks
them.
of it all.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay, that's crazy. Well, that does definitely like lend credence to the idea that this is like beneath everything.
Like that, like this is somehow the like stuff that's going up to the world, so to speak. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
exactly.
Did you have more on this bit before we go
I don't
inside?
think so. I think I have more takes once we're
Okay,
inside.
take us inside.
Okay, so we've now moved through this like rectangular hole and we are inside a room in this enormous
Hmm.
structure. Um there's a woman who's like in her 40s listening to a record and she's kind of
Hmm.
swaying in a way that reminds me of how Audrey danced in the
Oh
original
yeah,
Him.
absolutely.
And her hair is also like Audrey's hair. I'm not
Hmm.
saying this is Audrey, but it feels like very deliberate.
Hmm.
Um I did feel earlier on that Audrey was linked to not literally,
Hmm.
but aesthetically at least linked to the dream, the mysticism, whatever.
This
And one
woman
of these, like, diving
is
bell thing.
named in the
Yes.
credits as Senorita Dido. So
Okay,
do what you will with that.
cool. I I will do very little with that because I don't know. Um, oh, yeah, so she's listening to a record, like, on a gramophone,
Yeah,
right? Which is I
yeah.
think we also saw in the, like, "It Is in Our House Now"
We did, yes.
bit. I assume that this is the same place as that.
It looks like it.
There is this yeah, like, this diving bell that seems like it would go upward,
Mhm.
and not into the water, which is interesting.
Mhm.
Um, the some kind of, like, alarm or alert starts blaring, and the giant walks out from behind the bell to turn it off, and then he leaves to go, like, deal with it, I guess.
Mhm.
I assume that this is, like, a signal from the theater.
Mhm.
At this point, you know what? My takes are in the next scene. Do you have any thoughts
I
on this
do
bit?
have a bit. So, the fact that it looks like a diving bell is fun with everything I was just saying of the sea and the grand unified field and like descending into it, you know? Um like
Mhm.
this diving bell, someone could maybe take this down here to access these spirits in this unified field. They're dressed like they're going to the opera, you know? Um like I
Yeah,
think we've
yeah.
always seen the giant in his little bow tie, but like they really look like they're going to a an old-timey show, and the song that's playing is called in the credits. It's by David Lynch and Dean Hurley, and it's called A Slow 30s Room.
Oh.
And I
Okay.
think, like, along those lines, everything here feels, like, languishing, like, decrepit, stuck in the past. It is slow. It's like
Definitely.
a static place, like, as in not moving. It's very difficult for them to move. They everything they do
Mm.
is, like, very yeah, black and white, slow, old, moving is difficult, like, opulent, elegant. What it actually it really feels like the house
Yeah.
in Sunset Boulevard. Um,
Oh,
when I was
sure.
watching Sunset Boulevard with Maya had some, really smart stuff to say about it of, like, Maya, recently studied, like, interior design and, like, decor history, and that, like,
Oh.
in the kind of, like, 30s through 50s as, like, modern, design, like, started to take off, that like the idea of things being like white and clean, like cleanliness was a big part of that, and particularly the sense that like these lavish, like having all of your doohickeys and like all these fabrics, all of these ornate like fabrics and things that like
Mhm,
just
mhm.
capture dust unless you have and like kind of get filthy over time, especially if you're like smoking inside without,
Oh.
like really dedicated uh like cleaning staff.
Yeah, oh my
And
god.
the house in Sunset Boulevard is very much like that. And this feels like that also, the like stuck in the past opulence of it.
You're so right.
Um
I mean, it feels I don't know enough about Europe to say this feels European, but it feels like the old world that died with the bomb or with World War
yeah,
II.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's the slow 30s room. Um
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to literalize that, I think a lot of spaces like this would have like I mean, you hear so many stories of like German Jewish families having all of their
mhm,
assets seized
mhm,
in the
mhm.
1930s, right? I'm not saying that these the spiritual entities are Jewish or anything, but like more um it went away as a
Yeah.
direct result of
Yeah.
Hitler, of the war.
Um and the other note that I have is this woman kind of reminds me of the Silencio lady in Mulholland Drive,
Oh, uh-huh.
just in terms of like this mysterious woman who is in the theater to watch it. It it's not a one-to-one connection, but it was called to mind. Um,
When you say the Silencio lady, do you mean Rebecca Del Rio or the one in the
no, there's
audience?
like the lady with blue hair who like watches it. Um, and then
Yeah.
at the end says Silencio.
Oh, yeah. That's a great
Um,
character.
Here, I will. I'm just going to put a picture of her in our general chat, just so it's there. It not doesn't look really that much like this lady, like Senorita Dido, but the Senorita and the Silencio, like there's something going on. Um,
Mhm.
oh, also, this is I just googled Silencio Lady Mulholland Drive or DuckDuckGo actually, and it is recommending to me filmcolossus.com Mulholland Drive explained with a picture of none other than Miss Sunset Boulevard. So, anyway, that's something interesting.
Oh, cool.
Oh, this is a
Very
real
cool.
bullshit article though. Anyway, sorry. So the alarm goes off. He walks up the stairs into a theater. The theater is this like huge cavernous space. It has another one of those like diving bell contraption things, but this one like kind of looks a bit different. Like it's taller and thinner in a way. This whole bit really makes me think of Eraserhead,
Mhm.
honestly. Like of people moving through
Yeah.
these like black and white like weird spaces. Like this all feels very Eraserhead. Um,
I noted in Eraserhead that everything felt like it was inside or, like, underground.
Yes.
This is just one huge continuous
Yeah,
building.
absolutely. And he sees on the screen played out what we just saw, and then he starts floating, and some other shit happens. But you have notes just like on the space before we get into the like events that happen.
Yeah, I mean, the theater is definitely reminiscent of Club
Mm-hmm.
Silencio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very pointedly empty for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like, interesting that this is a colossal space that only 2 people seem to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there could be others, but we're not shown them. At this point, I'm starting to think, and maybe I'll justify this a bit later, but is this the White Lodge? I feel like this
Hmm.
is the White
Okay.
Lodge. And I think I said this in part 1 when we saw
Mm-hmm.
this as well. Um, yeah, I love the interior space. I don't have a ton to say about it that you haven't already said.
Okay.
So,
That's
go
not what
for
your
it.
notes say. I see some things in your notes.
Oh, yeah, the carpet looks like either the sea itself or vaginas.
Yeah, but
That's my
also
note.
you said Giant Climb Steps John Coltrane reference?
Oh, yeah, so, you know Giant Steps by John Coltrane? This giant is climbing the
Oh,
steps.
okay, I just didn't know that that was a song, but that's fun. I mean, listen, maybe.
It's definitely not, it is absolutely not a John Coltrane reference.
Okay, well, I'm
It's
glad I made you say it.
it's just a
Um,
just a tall guy climbing steps.
so anyway, uh he starts floating up. My subtitles called the music spooky and atmospheric, and I'm like, yeah, that's right, but it's also like angelic. So he floats up, and then
Yeah.
like the lights come on flickering as Senorita Dido comes in. And when we see him, he's floating, and there are these like gold specks kind of coming out of his mouth, and he's floating at like a 45-degree angle, like he's planking in the air. One thing I will note is that this is almost to a T a chalk on paper illustration that David Lynch made in 1985 called Floating Figure. Um,
Wait, no
yeah, I
way.
just put it in our general chat. I also linked to it there in the show notes. Apparently, he's made another painting, he said, that looks like this at some point too, but
Oh
clearly,
my god, to a
yeah, like
T.
really to a T. So clearly, this is an image that has been in David Lynch's mind for a while. Also, I love that I found this
Decades.
on a like art auction website, and it's like, this sold for 47% below its mid estimate. Sorry, folks, no money laundering on this
Oh.
floating figure. Um, but
That's funny because also, it's 2013, so whoever did buy this must have watched the return and been like, "Oh, fuck yes."
exactly, that's why you invest early in the weird David Lynch illustrations. So, of note, before the lady was kind of just sitting and swaying in a very like almost apathetic, but when the stuff starts coming out of him, she looks like, wow, how beautiful, like entranced. These like star specks like come from him. They're making a pattern on the ceiling, and then from that down it floats this gold orb. And
Yeah.
notably, the screen before had like freeze framed on Bob, but now through this whole bit, it is playing like stars coming at you screensaver kind of in a way that like converges with the like gold stars coming out of his mouth. And of course,
Mm,
this is all in black and white except for this
true.
gold here. It is like, whoa, it's doing the Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz or whatever trick, you know? And this gold orb floats down and Senorita Dido takes it. And now, like, it's fun when she grabs it. It's like it's also giving color to her hands. Like, we see her nails are red because they are made in color by like having grabbed the orb, you know?
Oh,
Um,
that's so
and then we
cool.
see the Laura Palmer face from the picture in it.
Oh my
And she
god.
kisses it and sends it up into a big gold pneumatic tube that shoots it to Earth. As on screen we see a real like from the 40s movie like a globe of Earth on there. And down she goes.
And down she
So
goes. Oh my
what
god.
the please tell me your thoughts on this.
I have so many thoughts
Yeah.
on this. Okay, first of all, the giant watching all of this from the same perspective that we've seen it, mind you, like what is playing on the projector
Mhm.
screen is specific snippets of the episode that
Yes,
we've
no,
just
yeah.
watched. It's not like a separate view,
Mhm.
right? Not sure what to make of that detail, but anyway, it does say that like this space, whatever it is, I do think it's the White Lodge, predates Bob.
Mhm.
So I was kind of thinking going into this that the nuclear explosion probably created
Mhm.
all of these kind of cosmic
Mm.
entities. It's interesting that it didn't. And I kind of wonder, like, we don't actually see any Black Lodge stuff in this episode. Is the Black Lodge also older than Bob? It's like
Mhm.
interesting to
Mhm.
consider. Anyway, when okay, oh my god. Sorry, there's so much
Yeah.
here. I'll try to keep this coherent. Um Laura is sent to Earth through a screen, and she is a beautiful symbol of hope that this spirit looks at and is like, "Wow,
Mhm.
I need to give you a kiss." Um, there is just like a very literal thing here, which is that Laura was a symbol of hope and
Mhm.
love, and she was beamed to the world through a screen, right? This
The
is what
TV
Laura
of it all. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That I thought was lovely, but then the fact of these more positive cosmic entities, I'm really resisting calling them like the White Lodge
Mhm.
guys because that hasn't actually been confirmed.
I support you like calling it though, you know?
Okay, thank you. Maybe I will.
Like I think I try to avoid saying definite things because I know that I've seen the show and I've like have seen
Sure.
all the stuff online and whatever, but I definitely am pro Lily being like, fuck it. I'm saying this is the White Lodge, you know?
Okay, fuck it. I'm saying this is the White
Woo!
Lodge. And it's interesting that the White Lodge entities always engage
Mhm.
in such a more limited or mediated
Yeah.
capacity compared to the Black Lodge ones.
Yeah.
So, like, Bob kills people for real, inhabits people for real.
Mhm.
The giant shows up to give you clues
Mhm.
or shows up to tell you things are happening. The giant shows up to put on a good show,
Mhm.
basically, but the effects are always mediated
Mhm.
through performance,
Mhm.
right? This feels so if we take the White Lodge as like the symbol or headquarters
Mhm.
of love, courage, kindness, all of this. It's so sad to
Mhm.
think that, evil acts in reality and then kindness makes these gestures,
Mhm.
sort of creates symbols for us to admire,
Mhm.
like Laura. That feels like how kindness works in Twin Peaks. Like, Dale is a nice guy except when it matters.
Yeah.
Dale wants to do the right thing except when he can watch a a cool show instead. You know?
So,
Mhm.
yeah, there are a lot of things jumping out at me at this. It's like also the if this is the White Lodge, these people are in the past. They're in black and white. They struggle to act.
Yeah.
The Black Lodge is in color. It's red, right? Like it's
It's
immediate.
vivid.
It's in the present. It's in yeah, like it's so much this space is so much more distant and like you say mediated. And it strikes me that like for all of David Lynch's like transcendental meditation and like I don't know if he's the kind of guy that was like into Buddhism, but he feels like he would be. But like for all of this, like this is also very Christian. Like Laura is sent to redeem the world by suffering. And like the
Yeah.
world and the earthly pleasures and like the immediacy of the devil who gets to act in the world and like the
Shit,
good god
yeah.
and angels are like removed and distant and like send their thing down to kind of literally die on the cross, like there is, I think, a lot of
Yeah.
whether intentional or not. I mean, I think this is like many such cases. I think of like uh white, especially American, like artists like making their uh mystic thing, like organization of mystical supernatural reality, and it ends up being kind of Christian. But it definitely is,
No, it absolutely is. I kind of can't believe I didn't catch this, but it does feel there is like an embedded critique of the White
Yeah.
Lodge and its
Yeah.
capabilities, right? It is saying like, if this is how heaven works, maybe it's not well, maybe it just doesn't fucking matter.
Mhm.
And also like I'm really oh my god. I need to watch so much more of the show immediately because Laura being a symbol or Laura being sent to either be good, do good,
Mhm.
or just be like a positive and inspiring symbol. There's something about that is cruel to Laura, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If she didn't deserve that. She like
And like if she it's cruel to her, and also like I think unless you're reading it in that kind of Christian way of like she redeems the world through her suffering, which is the thing that I'm saying that now dismissively. Now, when I watch the End of Fire Walk with Me, she's crying with her angel. Do I kind of believe that? Yes. But right now, I'm not watching that scene, so it doesn't have its hold over me. And like outside of that, it's like, does this work? Like, what is the if this is being sent as like, uh-oh, evil got onto Earth and Bob is there, we need to send something to counter it. And you send what's incarnated as like a victim for him to feast off of and do exactly what he loves to do. Like
yeah.
it doesn't like there like that's a great idea. As of the end of Twin Peaks season 2 and as we're certainly seeing now in The Return, it's not like this stopped Bob from doing things, you know?
No, it feels like since Laura died, the evil forces have just gotten more
Yeah.
potent, you know?
Yeah. I mean it feels like it's about the tension between these ideas and like on the one hand, believing like, wow, it's so great when a guy has gold orb that becomes Laura, that's so beautiful, but also like the impossibility of that and how that is like self-sabotaging. And that feels like the whole show's relationship with all of these hopeful ideas. I will
Yeah.
say, I think as of this whole episode, this bit kind of hits the least to me. It's not bad, but
Oh,
I think the nuclear bomb and all of it is so crazy, and this is like it's a little downtime, and it doesn't have the same crazy effect on me.
yeah.
But yeah, I think all this is like really, really interesting to think about. There's something also about like how like she gets loaded into a machinery to get sent to Earth. Like there is something about how she's being like instrumentalized, you know?
Yeah, the fact that the machinery is pre-existing and also like
Yeah.
well, I assume it didn't just pop into existence. It's also in color
Mhm.
and everyone seems to know what to do here. It
Yeah.
like just makes me think that this could be like a if not a habitual thing,
Mm.
at least like a thing that has a precedent, you know?
And like there's something else about like you say they're watching, but he only goes to watch when they get brought down. Otherwise they're just kind of sitting upstairs and contemplating. It's almost like like
Yeah.
the Bob likes to make a show, and the other Black Lodge entities seem to love to eat the Garmin Boja and consume the spectacle of suffering, right? It's like
Yeah.
almost Brechtian. I forget if I talked about this, but like Bertolt
Mhm.
Brecht, socialist, I think German playwright, had a big thing of like wanting to shock audiences out of just reacting like emotionally and like get them to think. And so a lot of his plays have like a intentionally breaking the illusion of reality to be like, think about this with your head, you know. um
Yeah.
there's
God, I need to see some of these plays.
Mother Courage and Her Children is fucking great.
Hmm.
There's something almost like that of like the difference between like consuming a black like something in black and white dispassionately, ponderously, versus like the vivid ravenous consumption, you know, like
Hmm.
doing it thinkingly versus doing it hungrily or something. um so there, anyway,
Sure,
all this stuff
sure.
going on, and Laura got sent down there. But gets kind of fully disconnected from what happens next. And unless you have more here, maybe we take our break and then come back on what happens next.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
Oh my good lord. Okay, we'll be right back with Tales from the Log.
Hello, it's Sadie. At the top of the episode, I told you about how our next one was going to be talking about all our Fantasia movies, including Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Well, Molly and I will be talking about Camp Miasma a little, but not too much, because our next bonus episode at tstv.show at the Patreon will be with me and Lily and Molly, all three of us doing a deep dive on Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. That one will come out a bit later in August. We don't know exactly when. In theory, it could come out like next week, according to our strict schedule. But it'll be a bit later in the month to make sure that we have time for Lily to come back from her travels, and we might catch it again when it's in theaters proper. I'm gonna give you guys a little spoiler. I think it's my favorite Jane Schoenbrunn movie. So if you want to hear about that movie, you must go to tstv.show and give us $3 sometime between now and the end of August. And if you just want to hear more about Gotta Light, honey, it's coming right to you. Enjoy. Okay.
We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. I thought he was just going to say we must find time.
We must find time. Where did it go?
In search of lost time. That's what it's about.
Okay, thanks, JFK. You should have found some time to
Buy a
dot.
helmet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for stealing your thunder.
No, I was like, it dodged a bullet, but yours was better.
Thank you. Okay. Wow.
My loud cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Should I take us back?
Yes, please.
And we're back. And it's time for Tales from the Log.
Log.
Feels silly to even do this episode. Thank you for Log.
Yeah.
Um so it's not like who's not in this episode is a pointless question. Um it's everyone, but I was thinking the other day, what the fuck happened to the guy who plays Shaggy? His
Yeah,
character.
Matthew Lillard. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to Matthew Lillard's character, the high school
It's funny that
principal?
he plays Shaggy, and his plot is kind of one of him going, "It wasn't me."
Nice.
It makes you think. Um,
Banger. Um, where did we leave him?
okay, last we saw him, he was in jail. There was a woodsman in the cell next to him, and his
Yeah.
wife was like, "Life in prison."
Life in prison, Doug. Is it Doug? No.
What
Maybe?
the fuck is his name?
Yeah, we should probably find
Bill Hastings.
Bill. And then she got shot.
Yeah. I will say the thing that he supposedly where he supposedly killed that lady was the apartment where they found Garland Briggs's corpse, which now we know people are officially interested in.
It's true. Okay, so his DNA was found on the scene, is that it?
His fingerprints, yeah.
His fingerprints. Because like there's no way he actually was implicated in any of this.
Hmm.
Um Oh, well, I guess I forgot about doppelgangers.
Hmm.
What
Okay.
if this is not a where are they now, but like it's a possibility, I guess, that Bob used Bill as a vessel to go kill this lady, so
Hmm.
his genetic material wouldn't be on the scene. But wait, it was on the scene, wasn't it? His fingerprints weren't they also on the corpse? No,
I don't
they were
think
somewhere.
so.
Okay, okay. Hmm.
Well, they had his fingerprints because when he got arrested, they did his prints.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just say he's in jail. Let's say they're not going to let him out quite yet because this is a
Uh-huh.
big mystical case. But the Woodsman appeared, and now
Hmm.
we know what the Woodsman does. So let's fanfic this up a little bit.
Uh-huh. And there was only one bed.
Okay, because like, why would the Woodsman appear in the jail? How does that help the Woodsman, right?
Like it feels like I mean, we've seen them appear just as like portents, it feels like.
Huh.
Oh, hold on. My grocery order is here. I'm gonna
Oh,
get it,
okay.
and I'll let you think about what is happening to him.
Sure, sure. Hello. How'd it go?
Good. My groceries are now upstairs, and Maya's putting them in the fridge.
Okay, awesome. Love it. Okay, you were gone. I have to admit that while you were gone, was I iterating on my idea? No, I was mostly reading about US military weapons because I was on the
Oh.
page for the Trinity nuclear test. And then I saw that I read about something called the active denial system, which is basically like a crowd control weapon the US military came up with that is like it shoots radio waves at you and then your body like that translates into heat. So it's like a long distance radio burn gun. Um isn't that so fucked up?
I think the US military might be bad.
I think the US military might be really bad and the apparently this is currently in use in at least one US prison.
Oh god.
Fuck America. Can I say it?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Jesus
That's
Christ,
really
yeah.
God.
So you've this is just me discovering the thing that I'm definitely gonna fixate on for the next, like,
Yeah.
2 months of my life.
Ugh. Yeah, we need to change the world.
I think we do need to change the world. And can television get us there?
Anyway, so that's a reminder from the Twin Peaks podcast uh, of the necessity for prison abolition and for the U.S. empire to be dismantled.
Back to Tales from the Log.
Yeah, back to Tales from the Log. So Bill Hastings is in jail.
What was the Woodsman portending when he was there? Okay, I really unfortunately am realizing that I have no guesses because I don't remember this plotline that well. So maybe, unless you have anything, maybe we pivot to the other woodsman who was there when they were talking about Garland's
Sure.
corpse. Because
Yeah.
there, let's just go fucking crazy on this thing. After the detectives leave the corpse in the morgue,
Hmm.
the woodman the woodsman enters that room and pulls out the slab on which Garland's body was stored
Uh-huh.
and does that crazy smearing blood shit on him.
Oh.
And Garland's body wakes up and walks out of there.
Fuck yeah, I love it. I love how this is a bit of, but this isn't a prediction about next episode. This is what's been happening off screen. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is while Mr. C was driving with Ray, that was happening. Anyway, Tales from the Log, Garland brings his corpse edition.
You're all welcome. That's already happened, and they're going to
uh,
expect you to know it next time.
exactly. Anyway, so yeah, we saw that the orb got sent to Earth, but that I guess was 1945. We have a little tick 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 up to 1956 in that same New Mexico desert, and we see a weird little thing is in the ground. There's like the egg that cracks, and here the special effects is really doing the like they just like did a CGI egg crack and put in it a different screen behind it, is
Yes.
very funny. But out of it comes like a frog with wings. I don't think we can
Yeah.
clip it, but I will say David Lynch has put out a short film called Quinoa,
Okay.
in which he says, let's make quinoa, and he shows you how he makes quinoa. And during the 10-15 minutes while the quinoa is cooking, he tells a story. And I believe it goes along the
Oh.
lines of oh, this was actually released as an extra to Inland Empire, which makes sense. Um, he says he was like on a train traveling through Yugoslavia, and
Hell
at a
yeah.
certain point, the train came to a stop, and there was no station, but we could see people getting off the train. He says this was in the mid '60s. When I got off the train, I stepped into this soft dust that was like 8 inches deep, and it was blowing. And out of the earth, these huge moths, like frogs, were leaping up, and they'd fly and flip and go
Oh,
back down again. So that was the frog moth. Things just sort of show up in the world of Twin Peaks. I guess that's him talking about specifically that thing. That's actually, I guess, a quote from an interview, but he has also relayed that story of these frog moths coming up in Quinoa.
interesting. Oh, wow. That's crazy. This
Yeah.
is a really fucked up little creature. It also has like 6 legs at the front that look like spider legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is I don't wanna give myself credit for Lily's Nightmare Corner because I don't think I actually talked about this dream, but
Oh,
maybe I told you
interesting.
about it. There were a couple months there earlier this year where I was having this recurring kind of half awake thinking it was there or just like a mental fixation on
Mm.
this fucked up little rat guy with
Mhm.
legs that didn't really work and with wings
You were telling me
that
about having the thing of thinking there's an animal in the house. I don't know that you told me
yeah.
that it was this. That's crazy.
This was a very specific moment in time where I would go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and as I was, like my feet were, like, stepping down on the ground, I was like, "Oh, fuck. I'm gonna step on the fucked up little rat guy."
Damn.
Um, it was covered in boils, and I was just really preoccupied with the idea that I was like it just popped into existence when I entered the room somehow.
Mhm.
I wrote a little let me see if I can find it. I wrote a little thing about it that feels spiritually accurate.
Mhm.
Okay, yes, I found it. Here's what
Hell
I wrote
yeah.
on January 22nd of this year about these little guys that I was thinking about. And it's written in the style of like a YouTube short. Okay, this is wild. They're making little creatures that aren't built well enough to stay alive, and they're sneaking them into dark places in your house. So closets, under the bed, behind the door,
Oh,
they could be
wow.
anywhere.
Oh,
And when you get up for
wow.
water in the middle of the night, you can find them just sputtering on the floor. They look like rats, but with vestigial wings and little boils all over them. They only pop into existence when you see them. And get this, the creators actually want you to put them out of their misery. This is crazy.
Okay, wait, that's you should make that as a YouTube short. That rules. I love
Thank
that. I
you.
really love that.
Thank you.
Um,
So yeah, I've been thinking about fucked up
wow.
little guys that basically look like this for like months.
Wow. Fuck yeah. It got it. I think the nuclear bomb reached back through time to give you this.
Fuck. Yeah, so that's my note on the scene.
Now I'm just thinking about like Mr. Beast voice, like, this is the water, and this is the well. Drink deep and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and dark
Holy
within.
shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so glad we're hanging out later, by the way.
Oh my god,
Oh
yes,
my god.
absolutely.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I've claimed this next one. Should I, or do you have any thoughts?
I'm sorry, I'm just still thinking about like, we're going to White Sands, New Mexico. The horse is the white of the eyes and dark within.
Oh,
Drink
fuck.
deep and descend. He throws his arms up. Yeah, anyway.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I
Okay.
really need to get to nail it, Mr. Beast voice so I can
Oh,
make this
wow.
video. Hell yeah.
Anyway, so yeah,
Anyway.
what happens after the little fucking frog moth crawls out?
Okay, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, we're calming down. This is a serious scene. Um, there are these, like, quite young kids walking out of what looks to be like a dance, like a teenage ice cream social or whatever that's, like, in the
Uh-huh.
back of a gas station. Um,
Mm.
it is nighttime, and I did initially mistake this for the convenience store. It feels like there's a resemblance there.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just
funny.
walking
I read
along.
them at first just like walking home from a concert, but maybe that's just because of the Nine Inch Nails. But I like your read also.
It could also be a concert. I guess the fact that only these 2 are leaving is interesting.
Yeah.
But, these 2 kids are walking along. It's, like, very awkward.
Mm-hmm.
They go like, "Did you like that song?"
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, I did like that song." Just, like, total anti-chemistry, and I know that we've been recording for quite a while, so I don't wanna get off track here. But, yes, I did like the song, did remind me of this. Okay, I've been just writing down interesting things I overhear out in public, right? And one
Mm-hmm.
that I heard the other day was just these 2 people walking in silence until the woman goes, "Pierogies are delicious." And the man goes, "Yes."
Yeah.
It's
Hey, you know what? It's true. They
it's
are.
true, but it was so awkward. It reminded me of this.
I love that.
Anyway, it's dark and they're walking home, and, the young girl they're noted here as teenagers. Honestly, I read them as a little younger, but they could be,
Yeah,
like, 13
I
maybe.
like 12, 13 feels right, honestly.
Yeah. The girl goes, "Oh my god, I found a penny," and then she finds a penny,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of it.
That is kind of it. I think it's notable that yeah, it isn't the same gas station as we saw earlier, but them walking past a gas station convenience store feels very pointed. Um, and I don't know if there's anything about her finding the penny. Like it feels like good luck, but it's not like you know,
Mm.
like is there anything
Yeah,
about like this is what marks her as this is total speculation, but like as
please.
what the frog moth goes into later, like what she thinks is good luck and like taking the the money like
Uh-huh.
is actually what makes her be have that frog moth go into her, whatever that means. Like I don't know, maybe there's something there.
Sure. Uh, a penny, I guess, is also like a this is almost just free association at this point, but a penny is
Mhm.
a round, shiny, warm-toned thing,
Mm,
you know,
true. Yeah.
a la Laura Palmer's golden ball. But,
Yeah.
I like the read of it being like a good luck charm that doesn't work. It kinda reminds me of, like, Laura's angel in that it's like a cool, beautiful thing that doesn't actually mean
Yeah.
anything.
And yeah, I think like just the gas station convenience store, it makes it feel like I don't think we're to necessarily believe that they're on the place where the nuclear bomb went off, but like
Right.
it makes it feel like they are, or makes it feel as if like with what we know about the convenience store being a haunted location of spirits, that like it's like navigated itself to here. Like the fact that they walk past it makes it feel haunted and doomed.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. There's another thing I will say that I guess I'll say right off the top upon meeting her here.
Uh-huh.
In the show here, she is just called Girl,
Yeah.
1956.
I noticed that, and the boy is just called Boy, I think.
Yeah. So, one of the Twin Peaks books that was released is called Twin Peaks: The Final Dossier, written by
Mhm.
Mark Frost. Now, it came out October 2017 and has a bunch of lore things. Definitely, if you read Twin Peaks books, don't read this one yet, because this is a bunch of stuff that you should not read until after you're
Okay.
done season three. Um,
Sure.
and some stuff here isn't great. We saw each other in person the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man, some of those books aren't great." There was like a detail in one of these that like this town where that nuclear explosion happened, or like this town where these kids are walking. There was like in the years leading up to this, someone was trying to like summon a demon or something. It was like, okay, whatever. It's the kind of shit that like I don't know. It feels Wyndham Earl coded. Um,
Yeah, and apparently Windham Earle is basically all Mark Frost.
yes. Now, something that is in Twin Peaks: The Final Dossier
Mhm.
is that it is strongly implied that this girl's a young Sarah Palmer. Um,
Mhm.
we learn in that book, and like my understanding is Mark Frost kind of just writes those and puts shit in it that he's like, I think this is true, and I don't know that David Lynch really interacts with them at all.
I was actually just reading the executive producer's Reddit AMA that came out after the return, and
Okay.
it was, like, right before the final dossier came out, and she said, "David and I have no idea what's in those.
Okay. Yeah.
We're looking forward to it, but it's purely Mark's vision
So
of."
so
So I think, in the same way that Fire Walk with Me is purely David Lynch's vision, it's
yeah.
like, that doesn't
Yeah.
make it non-canon, but it puts it on a different level maybe.
Yeah. So this is one of those things that I think people will really run with online. I don't think we need to take it as fact, but what is said in Twin Peaks: The Final Dossier is that Sarah Palmer, at the time Sarah Novak, lived in this town in New Mexico, and on the night when all the shit happened, when two people at the radio station were murdered, she was rushed to the hospital with severe medical distress
Okay.
in a way that sure seems to imply that this is young Sarah Palmer.
Mhm.
Based on just this episode, like before looking that up when I watched this for the first time, I was like, is that supposed to be young Sarah Palmer? That is
Yeah,
like
me too.
kind of implied. It's certainly left as a question for us to think about, but it is not set in stone by any means.
At any
Um,
point in the show?
no.
Okay, okay. I was also really thinking that this could be Leland and Sarah, or at least Sarah, but, clearly they don't want that to be a fixed thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, but I think worth having in our mind that like this secondary text that is like in this non-canonical semi state says that that is, very strongly implies that to be the case. But yeah, this is kind of just like getting introduced to these two. Actually, I'll say one last thing about this and kind of the frog moth earlier. It is impossible not to think of radiation, right? Like,
Oh,
obviously, there's
yeah.
the thing of like, the bomb let this evil egg into the earth and this is coming out, but it also really feels like the radiation poisoning in the ground in a very real way. Um, anyway, it's time for the other crazy thing that happens in this town. Lily, take it away.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Uh, the Woodsmen, plural, are back, and they are
Yeah.
emerging out of thin air from the desert and running
Yeah.
toward Various. So there is this couple that is driving down a dark road at night, and suddenly there's a man on the road. Oh
Mhm.
no. So they slow down, they stop, and he kind of leans down into the window and says, "Got a light?" in
Mhm.
this like garbled kind of radio distorted voice. Um, they enter slow motion
Mhm.
and they struggle to kind of pull their eyes away, but eventually they do, and they drive away in panic, narrowly avoiding hitting another one of these woodsmen on the way out.
Mhm.
So, you have political thoughts here.
Yeah. I think before I jump into those, I will also say, like, when that happens, there's like another car that was coming the other way that's just stopped on the side of the road,
Yeah.
as if the other woodsman has like fully ensnared those people somehow. Um, we get our like, our spooky electric hum that we love, and as he goes up and says in his fucked up voice, got a light, we get the like electric light flash keeps flashing over them in the way that we've seen before.
Mhm.
And the other thing I will say is it sure is that line that I think is only in the missing pieces, but the we descend from pure air. That is what is happening on
Yeah.
screen here, like pretty straightforwardly.
Definitely, definitely.
I think as far as like what is going on politically with all this, it sure is like kind of a conservative fear fantasy of like these like men in what seems to be kind of like classical like quote unquote hobo attire with like their dark soot blasted faces,
Mhm.
the like drifters coming into town from the desert to do violence. It's very loaded, right? It sure is like
Yeah.
the idea of this like white couple driving down the road and like a guy like, more dark-faced homeless guy comes up to ask for a favor,
Mhm.
and it's like the most terrifying thing you've ever seen, and he's like doing
You're
violence
right.
and he's coming into your town to fuck you up, is like the fear fantasy of every like conservative person driving their car scared when a homeless person asks them for some money. You know what I mean? Like
Damn.
it's the like lock your car doors or else they're gonna like.
No, you're totally right, you're totally right.
And it does feel like it's deploying that somewhat intentionally, but like they're like really like, this couple is such a like middle class looking white couple, in that kind of way. Like I don't know. It's hard to draw a clear one-to-one political distinction here, and like I
I
think
agree.
certainly complicated by everything with like the nuke and everything we've just seen, but it feels very pointed. My other note was honestly just like the God of Light is such a Fire Walk with Me of it all. Like it God of Light
Mhm.
is kind of like Fire Walk with Me as far as sentences go, like you're asking for a him to light your cigarette, right?
Right. Got what's the fire walk with me of it all?
I don't know. You light a cigarette with fire.
Yeah. Definitely the stuff in there about, like, they talk a lot about electricity
Mhm,
from pure redesign.
mhm.
Just, like, at like, sentence structurally, it does remind me of Fella Victim.
That is also true, yeah. Um, yeah, do you have more thoughts on this scene?
Hmm. Definitely the I'm glad you point out the conservative thing, and it is, like, it's hard to square with how I think it is presenting this
Mm,
American small town because I don't think it's, like, otherwise glorifying or defending it, you know? Like,
mhm,
as we're about to see this, young these, like, 12-year-olds who maybe have a crush on each other or whatever, this is not presented as, like, a sweet or
mhm,
pure thing, it's kind of also
mhm.
scary, and the young girl is, like, imperiled. It just otherwise feels so, like, anti-nostalgic, and, like, this
Yeah,
couple, right, as they're driving, expressionless, not speaking to each
yeah,
other, it's not like they're happy, you know? Um, I wonder if this could be an extension of the David Lynch intuitive approach that
yeah.
does the giveth and taketh away. You know, he just gets an
Mhm,
image and he's like, "Oh, this strikes me emotionally," and he uses it
mhm.
and doesn't necessarily think, "Oh, why does this strike me emotionally?"
It feels like maybe that's part of it, but it also feels like there's something about, you know, The Return has been doing a lot of like trying to capture the psyche of the time, like capturing
Mhm.
the tropes of these shows, and like it feels like there's something about like it's capturing the psyche of like white 50s small town where the worst thing that you can imagine is for a darker skinned person, and like these actors I'm pretty sure are white, like they're not black actors, but they're soot blasted is what I keep saying. um
They're definitely meant to look like white people, yeah.
but also like I think the darkness of their faces is highlighted even just with how many shots there are of them walking in from the dark where you can kind of only see their eyes. Like their soot blasted nature I think is very pointedly highlighted, especially with how white and pale skinned all the other actors are. And it's like I- in the same way that like putting, I don't know, like Richard Horn running over a kid on screen is like capturing the psyche of
Mhm.
the fears of the 2010s. Like the like collective unconscious fear of 1956 is, what if a guy with darker skin and dressed shabbily came up and asked you for something and came into your town from outside, right? And like even just the sundown town of it all, like it
Mhm.
feels like, I mean, also it, how can we talk about all this and not talk about the guy behind Winkies from Mulholland Drive, right?
Oh my god, yes.
Like it's the same
Oh,
thing.
shit,
It's like
yeah.
in both instances, it's like the evil of these places and times, like whether the LA Hollywood dream or the small town 50s America,
Mhm.
is literalized by creating the racist, classist, to use that kind of vernacular, like thing that they fear, is made real and made to act on them. Like, I think, there's a read of that it is just portraying, like, it is just portraying that conservative fear, but there's also a read that, like, what's happening here is that
Mm.
this small town that is so haunted by the evil of the nuclear bomb, like, creates the thing that it's the most afraid of, and the spirits, like, literalize that, and then it happens to it, you know? Like like, in the same way that, like, the town of Twin Peaks is, like, well, it's not quite one to one, but, like, there's something there about, like,
Mhm.
it's saying, "This is what you think is the worst thing in the world, and we're gonna do it to you for that reason," and, like, I don't know, I'm not
Mm.
quite getting there 100%, but it does feel intentional, I think.
Okay. I am open to this read, certainly. Yeah. I think it's worth having in the mix. I'm not sure how critical I find its being here,
Yeah.
but hmm.
Honestly, the other thing I will say is it is just like a really there's some just formally, like, it is so good and disorienting. I just posted 2 shots in our general chat that are like,
Mhm.
I love there's like in the reflections on the windshield, like, you can, like, kind of see it looks like there's, like, a upside down hand at, like, the top right of the frame that's like, "What the fuck
Oh,
is that? Is that,
yeah.
like, a reflection of one of the people? It looks like there's, almost like a dead body on the roof, which there isn't, but it looks like it. There's, like you
That's
see the
crazy.
driver's reflection in the speedometer, like, it's really does a great job of just being a horrifying,
Wow.
overwhelming scene, all the politics aside, you know?
Yeah. No, it's true, it's true.
Um, and yeah, I guess then, like, to move from that, we then get the resolution of the young couple.
Yeah, okay, so this is basically just the boy walking home to, like,
Mhm.
the girl's house, and then he asks for a kiss. She's, like, hesitant and clearly doesn't want to, and he kinda pushes it, he says, I
Mhm.
think, "Please, just one." And so she does, and it doesn't, like, feel nice for her, and she
Mhm.
she just goes, yeah, okay, bye," and then
Mhm.
walks up her front porch, starts going inside. He's, like, still there. She feels a little, I think, unsettled that he's still there.
Mhm.
It's just taking the kinda stock Americana fantasy thing of,
Mhm.
like, the young lovers. The lovers is a crazy word to use in this context. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Young love, right? And it's presenting it in a way that is just, like, actually unsettling and creepy and, like, not
Yeah.
positive for the girl. She's not having fun here, I don't think. Up
Yeah.
to this point, it seemed like maybe they were just awkward in a "these are both 12-year-olds" way.
Mhm. Yeah, there is some of that, like, definitely heard, like, "You live by the school." Is just, like, another one of those, like, "Okay, sure." But yeah,
Yeah.
it feels very pointed and, like, certainly connected to again, if we're thinking about the bomb as, like, Bob entering the world, whatever, like, the fact that we're seeing, even on this very small scale, a young man pressuring a young woman,
Yeah.
it's like this is the birth of that. There are 2 other things that jump out at me here. One, she's like, "Oh, I thought you were going with Mary." I don't know if there's anything there about, like, the Virgin Mary, virginity something. And the other one, especially given everything we were just talking about. So this kid, this boy, 1956,
Mhm.
this guy's played by Xolo Maridueña, who is, per his Wikipedia page, of Mexican, Cuban, and Ecuadorian descent. And I also don't really know what to make of that. Like,
Mhm.
in terms of it, we did both kind of notice the like he is like he does the please just one, like kind of press her for a kiss.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not really sure what to make of that in terms of this guy being a Latino actor and like
Sure.
everything we're saying of the kind of New Mexico like white small town. Like he's the only, I think, all the other characters that we see who either get killed or pass out or whatever are white.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's complex. I don't. It feels fraught. It feels again like the for this to come from a teenage actor who isn't white as opposed to someone like Leland or whatever. Um, it is, again, feels like, to whatever degree of consciously, like a literalization of these like fear race fantasies of like white small town America.
I agree, and given, like, it is so focused, I think, on her experience of this and saying, like, it is I think it is condemning this as a thing that is, like, realistic and happens, and with that, like, if we are reading this character as Latino, which I admittedly did not, like, I thought he was a white kid in until I saw his name in the credits, but, like,
Yeah, I wasn't sure because the black and white, and then like I had to look up the actor, but yeah.
yeah. But, like, if that is what's happening here, I don't know, I don't see any way it could not be racist, I don't think. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really think of a deeper justification for that being the case. The show only it's just the show's weakest point by a mile is, like,
Yeah.
anyone who's not white, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting because like I just looked him up now as we were recording when I saw my note that was like, what is this kid's skin color? And it's interesting. I've said it's my favorite episode of Twin Peaks, and I think that I don't know, that really does put a twist on it, all this. So yeah, I don't know. That really that detail does kind of throw a wrench in this. But I think if we put that aside for a moment, there is something very compelling to like we're seeing the source of the evil, and the source of the evil is again like a young man, a young like a boy pressuring a girl into a kiss that she doesn't really want. I think eh, like it feels very important that we get that after all of the crazy abstract nuclear bomb everything, you know?
Yeah, like, that as the violence,
Mhm.
totally works, totally works. I It's just kinda since you bring up this thing about
Yeah.
the outsider that I'm, like, definitely increasingly troubled by this. And, like, I'm also gonna say, if this isn't explicitly Sarah Palmer, she could have been Latina, right? Like,
Mm.
it's not, like, nothing that she is white and
Yeah,
he is not,
definitely. I
right?
mean, like, that's, like, definitely the in many ways, like, the I actually read an article the other day, kind of analyzing, like, a lot of contemporary far-right ideology as being kind of, per this article, like, existing almost entirely in conversation with, anxieties around, like, racist cuck porn. That was, I gotta say,
Uh-huh.
a really good article. I'll put it in the show notes. But, like, certainly the idea of a non-white guy making an advance on a white woman, especially a young white girl, is, like, I think the animating psychosexual paranoid fantasy of, like, contemporary white right
Yeah.
nationalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And again, it's one of these things again where it's like, it doesn't mean we should just cast white actors. I don't know. I'm happy for this guy, he got the job, but also it's more complex than that, obviously, but also, like, it does feel racist, and it does like it's unclear whether it is kind of just following an intuitive vision of this in a way that is not being interrogated, or whether it's like we're seeing the New Mexico predominantly white small town, like that culture's fears and paranoias being like through these Black Lodge entities, whatever the residual evil of the bomb, like being conjured out of the air onto itself. It's weird. I don't, but yeah, I don't know. Do you have more on this, or shall we get to the final big sequence?
We should definitely keep it moving. I will
Yeah.
just say, like, I think the fact of the focus on her experience, her pain,
Hmm.
is telling us, like, th that's the theme of the show, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is saying, "The New Mexicans think this way
Mm,
psychosexually." I feel like it is, like, it does believe in that.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, so we get one of these woodsmen walking through the desert, going up to the local radio station, and we get a fucking needle drop. I mentioned this like a few episodes ago when we got fucking take 5 at one point. But
Mhm.
this is like the most like the needle drop as being, I think, like a very defining element of the like 2000s, 2010s prestige TV. And this is
Mhm.
a kind of this is like the kind of ultimate incarnation of that. And I gotta say, it is a really killer one. I love the as he like is walking up, and all of a sudden the song comes in. The when the twilight is gone, like it's great.
Yeah.
He goes up to the radio station. It's playing its stuff. He walks in. We see like a guy, a mechanic, someone at Pop's Diner, which again, in terms of just like, the small town patriarch of it all, it's Pop's Diner. Everyone's listening to it. We see that girl in her bed. The guy walks in and she gets up, and we get like this slow-mo effect again with the needle drop playing the whole time. And he goes up and just grabs her head, and it's like crazy slow-mo, like shaky effect on her, and he just freaking splats her basically. And again, like the white receptionist, the guy coming in, like his hand grabbing her, his almost looks like, just in this screenshot that I'm taking, it looks like green screened, like
Oh.
his hand over her head looks like superimposed green screen style in a way that they could like maybe get the blood pouring down her face or something. But like the darkness of his skin is like very, very pointedly highlighted.
Mhm.
And she splats like the shaky cam over her as like the blood pours is crazy. And then he walks into the recording booth, and we get a really crazy shot. It's like a horror like monster movie. We get his like hand like pull up in front of the camera as we see the disc jockey like reacting like in horror to it, like in the way that you would see like the knife be brandished in like a slasher or like a, like
Mm.
50s monster movie, right? Um, he comes up and grabs the guy, and he starts talking into the mic. The needle has been undropped. He's stopping the song, and one of my notes, he sounds a bit like Alex Jones.
Oh my god, he does.
Yeah. And he reads his incantation. This is the water, and this is the well.
This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full and ascend. The horse is the white of the eyes, and dark within.
And everyone listening to it just like passes out basically. And he just keeps going. We
Mhm.
see the little frog moth thing crawling up, and we see the girl pass out, and it flies up into her room, and she's like induced to open her mouth, and it just crawls into her mouth, and it is so yucky.
It's really, really I had a hard time with this bit, honestly.
Yeah, no,
It
it's really
felt
rough.
really gross.
It's really rough, and, like, that gets in, and then he says the incantation another few times, he's like, "Okay, I'm done," and then we see him, like, splat the guy's head as we see his, like, fingers have dug all the way in through his skull, and the blood is, like, really
Yeah.
gooping out, and then he just walks
Really
out and
gross.
leaves and, like, walks out into the desert, and we hear a horse neigh. What do you have to say about this? This is kind of the big one of this sequence,
Eh,
you know?
yeah, yeah. So, again, like, the woodsman controlling the flow of time and making it
Mhm.
hard to being very easy to pay attention to, like, everyone fixes their eyes on them,
Mhm.
but are not able to act, feels like
Mhm.
the spectacle thing.
Mhm.
Um, I guess I mostly wanna spend time dissecting, like, this thing that he's been reading. I don't wanna say
Yeah.
mantra.
Yeah.
So drink full and descend. Oh my god, okay. The bug, moth, frog guy going into the girl's mouth does feel like descending into something that is
Mhm.
dark within, you know?
Mhm.
Mm, this is the water and this is the well. I guess I kind of think as like the well being the human body that is the source of the water. What is the water?
Mm.
It could be the famous pain and suffering that we all know.
Mhm.
Um, the consumption
It
of it
feels
also like the it's all very consumption
yeah.
based, drink full and descend in a way
Mhm.
that does remind me of Bob's like frantic kind of hunger, you know? What were you
Hmm.
gonna say?
Well, it also makes me think of the big purple ocean and the like great sea of the unified field
Hmm.
of it all. Like if that's the water and maybe the woodsman is the well because he's like bringing that water up to them, like the well bucket, which also kind of makes me think of those diving bell things. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's giving them through this incantation like the water of that great sea, and it makes them descend and pass out like as a like dark literalization of like transcendental meditation, almost like you're brought out of your conscious state into like quote unquote pure consciousness, which is unconsciousness, like through the well water,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And the horse is the white of the eyes. I mean, of course, makes me think of the white horse of what Sarah Palmer kept seeing, which of
Yes.
course is another thing
Oh,
that even even putting aside the final dossier, very much ties this with Sarah Palmer.
for sure. Oh, big time. I read something, I think it's in the Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, that says that when she was 12, she was gifted a white horse that then died
Oh,
somehow.
damn.
Yeah, I need to read that more closely,
Huh.
but that's that's interesting also is like I think the idea is that she had it from the ages of like 12 to 14 and then it had to be put down or
Hmm.
something. The idea of Sarah maybe seeing the white horse as like a memory of the better times,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
But I don't know. The horse is the white of the eyes. Like, okay, so these guys have very markedly white
Mhm.
eyes. Um,
But also, like, it isn't the part of the eye that you see with. You know, I don't know if that's anything.
yeah. No, but you're right. I think the white of the eyes might just be like it's the lightness of the eyes. Like
Mhm.
I think of how these
Mhm.
kind of cosmic avatars like Bob or Mr. C or like Leland or Mr. C, I guess, have a human form. They have the white of their
Mhm.
eyes. But there is dark within. How does the horse play into this? Who know?
So, I mean, it's impossible for me to not think of them sedating Sarah Palmer. Like
Oh shit, yeah.
and obviously like
With an
him,
IV.
yes, right? And him drugging her to get her to be sedated while he does all of his horrible crimes. And like there's something there about like she sees the white horse then, the invoking of the white horse now is what makes her pass out. Like it's another like
Yeah,
layered connection to that, it feels like.
totally.
And honestly, in some ways, maybe feels like we saw the horse at the beginning of this season. It was in the void there for a second, right? When the curtains were blown away after Laura got like whisked away.
Hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
and it feels like we are just bringing back the horse image and like layering a bit more onto it bit by bit.
Sure.
The other thing, which was another missing pieces one. Matt, we're referencing a lot of our bonus cut episode movies. If you're listening to this and you're like, "What do you mean, the lady from Mulholland Drive and the missing pieces?" You gotta give us $3 a month. Um, but that amazing scene, I think the best scene in the missing pieces to me, the one of
Uh-huh.
Laura like doing her fucked up smile.
Oh, at the ceiling thing.
Yeah, like that feels,
Yeah.
and then right after that, of course, was when Sarah Palmer came and was like, "Where's my sweater? It's happening again." Um,
Oh my
like
god.
it's the way that this girl here opens her mouth for the frog moth, like feels like really evoked that to me.
Oh,
Um,
uh-huh.
and honestly, my other note on the like a goopy murder is in the same way that like the hand coming into frame feels like something from a slasher movie, or like I haven't seen a bunch of these 50s like monster movies, but it also feels like something
Mhm.
out of like a 50s monster movie.
Ah.
The way that they get splatted, it's very I mean, it's what it is, but it feels practical effects. It feels like like you can just see the guy's hand going into like a watermelon or whatever the fuck it is. And
Yeah.
like there is like physical goop that they are pouring over that lady's head and his head. That is very different from the gore that we've been seeing in 2010s in like the Twin Peaks: The Return like main timeline, which has been
Mhm.
very CGI,
Very.
and that feels very intentional. Again, in the way if Twin Peaks: The Return as a whole is like recreating 2010s television, it's like doing the like kind of cheap CGI gore of that time, and this is doing the kind of practical effects gore that you would get in like It Came from the Night and Scooped Us movie from 1956 or whatever, you know?
It fucking scooped us.
Um
Yeah.
which does make me feel a bit like it is in some way maybe intentionally just creating the anxieties of like recreating the
Mm.
anxieties of that in the way that in a lot of ways, you know, Twin Peaks was about creating the anxieties of the 90s small town of like what if they had drugs and are like obviously it turned that on its head when Leland was the one who did it all, but like I don't know, I'm still not giving it a
Mm.
free pass, but there's something there. But mainly it is also
Sure.
just a crazy scene. Like, it is really effectively scary, him coming in, like, incomprehensibly and saying this fucking, like, mantra and everyone falling asleep, and the frog crawling into her is so gross, and
Oh my
so,
god.
like, again, as far as we're saying the source of the evil is, like, you know, the atomic bomb is the thing that kind of created, like, post-war America as, like, the superpower that it is, and,
Yeah.
like, the this sexual violence, you know, with a lot of these messy attachments that we've discussed, but I think it is very potent as like what makes Twin Peaks and what makes the America of Twin Peaks the way that it is, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my last thing is if this is Sarah Palmer, what do we think it means that this bug thing crawled inside of her as a child?
I mean, so this episode has shown us that Laura is like cosmically chosen somehow
Mhm.
as a symbol of
Hmm.
resisting evil, of hope, of goodness, whatever. Um Arbitrary law, I would say Leland's confession did the same for Leland, in that, like, he was
Mhm.
chosen by something greater to carry a great evil within him.
Mhm.
Although I do think he made, like, a real bargain with that evil force, like,
Mm.
it at least initially was not his choice, right? Um, I guess there is a world in which Sarah Palmer is like completes that trinity somehow. But I struggle to see it
Mhm.
because I feel like this entity that just went in her mouth. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
Yeah.
it so much.
Yeah.
Was definitely evil. And I don't think Sarah Palmer is evil, you know?
Mhm.
Like I think she was uh a mom who is being subjected to horrors and trying her best.
Mhm.
I will say that all we have seen from her this season
Mm.
is watching animal mauling videos,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have speculated that she might have a kind of fixation on violence
Mhm.
since her daughter was killed.
God, that was such a good fucked up scene, that shot of her.
That was a
Ugh.
really good scene. Mm,
Um, yeah. Well,
yeah,
let's
I guess
keep
I guess
go
what
ahead.
I'm saying is that she could complete that trinity in some way, or that she could also now be, a carrier of some greater,
Yeah.
project or mission outside of her will, or
Yeah.
even knowledge.
Yeah. A lot going on. Big fucking episode, huh?
Big fucking episode. I guess the last thing is that the credits roll over a shot of this young girl just like sitting there sleeping,
Mm.
which inherently feels like very uncomfortable to watch,
Yeah.
even if she hadn't just been forced to
Yeah.
swallow a weird bug
It does
frog.
feel like voyeuristic. Yeah.
Yeah, like this, an incredibly similar shot is in Order to Not Be Here, a thing that I talked about in a video last year
Yeah.
about like surveillance and all that. But I cannot but notice like the one thing that really happens as credits roll is that her eyes squint and like kind of
Mm.
tense up as if she's having a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. Anyway, that's the thingy.
That's the episode. The other thing, my little notes on the credits, is that First of all, Nine Inch Nails are credited as quote the quote Nine Inch Nails, which is still very funny.
That's really cute.
And Erica Enyon, or sorry, Erica Anon, is credited as Experiment. Now,
Who is Experiment?
I believe she was also credited in either part one or in part one as Experiment Model, implying that she was somehow a, I don't know, motion capture or something model for that figure that we saw puking stuff up, which feels like a soft confirmation that that thing puking stuff up was what we saw kill those people, that couple, in part one, when it came out of the freaking
Mm.
TV box at them.
Oh.
So,
So what the fuck is that thing? We don't have time.
we
We don't have
don't know.
time.
And also, Carol Streakin, who we did keep calling the Giant, is still only credited as question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. So, he simply looks like the Giant.
They're cousins.
So-
That's so weird. Why would it not just be the giant?
It's so good.
So much of my this is the White Lodge thing is because he seemed like he was from the White Lodge in the original show. Why would this be a different guy? Whatever.
They'll never miss an opportunity to do some bullshit like that. But yeah, what a fucking episode. I feel like I can feel a bit in you, perhaps the we've been recording for over 3 hours sleepiness, so we've kind of slowed down a bit at the end here, but like I think even despite the kind of like political read criticisms that we put on it, and I still am unsure of how I read that, as far as just an hour of television, I think this is my favorite episode of Twin Peaks. The shit that it does
There we
is
go.
crazy. Like I can't think of anything else. Like even The Sopranos when it's dream episodes, whatever, like there's not a single other episode of television that does things that this episode of television does that I have ever seen in my entire life. And that's
Yeah.
so fucking cool. Like
Yeah.
there's
yeah.
more variance and experimentation and like commitment to an astonishing vision in this episode than some shows have in like a 10 season run.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's the episode.
It's insane that this exists.
Yeah. Oh,
Holy shit,
yeah.
dude. What a it just makes you want to make your own
I
shit,
know,
and really
right?
go for it, really send it.
Yes, absolutely.
I again won't talk too much about my ongoing project, but I will say that it is a multi-part thing that I'm trying to write and film as one continuous thing.
Fuck yeah.
Very much.
Fuck yeah.
Because it works so well in the return. Dude, holy shit.
Did you have any crazy dreams?
Okay, to keep it brief, I unwillingly
Oh.
have somewhat been engaged in some kind of a beef with another content creator.
Oh no.
Don't ask who it is. This was months ago by the time anyone is hearing this. But um basically I had a dream last night that I lost like over 100 Patreon supporters.
Oh no.
And the reason all of them gave was just this girl's name.
That's crazy.
That like they chose her in the beef.
That's
Like,
crazy. Wow.
when I say the beef, by the way, it is I made ugh, it doesn't fucking matter. No, let's leave it in the past.
Well, I actually.
How about you, Sadie?
Okay, I did have a crazy dream, but I might save it for next
Okay.
time because we've been recording for 3 hours and 21 minutes. And next time, I will tell you about my cursed temple dream.
Your cursed temple
Yeah, I had a
dream.
cursed temple
Okay.
dream. You'll hear about it next
Oh my
time.
god.
And if you're on the free feed and you're listening to this and you're like, I want to know about her fucking cursed temple dream, $3 will give it to you. That's all I'm saying. Anyway,
Fantastic.
here were our predictions last time. 1, about next time on Twin Peaks. As we all know, episode 8 of Twin Peaks The Return is set in the 1970s at the height of disco. It's an alternate timeline where the Woodsman is running the most popular dance program on color television. He's green. In this timeline, the Cold War goes hot and the Soviets nuke Baltimore. Where all this is happening, John Waters' cinematic universe. It's all very colorful and everyone won't stop talking. We were having fun. So
we were goofing because this is the maybe other than Lonely Souls, this is the episode of
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. I knew kind of what was going to
But
happen.
but
I didn't know what it was going to be like,
that's the
mind
thing. Like,
you.
I kind of knew, but it was still mind-blowing to watch it. And I hope it still was to you, even if you kind of knew. I hope that watching it, you were still like, what the fuck? I could not have been prepared for what it actually is. Like,
Oh, not remotely.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
remotely. No, it was like an incredibly intense
Yeah.
experience. Um,
In a way that makes it feel like an especially cruel thing to do to you to make you predict what happens next episode. But Lily, what happens next episode on Twin Peaks?
okay, so if we're going to subscribe to the whole like this is 9 2-hour movies, this would be the second half of like episodes 7 and 8 are their own thing,
Uh-huh.
and then 9 and 10 are going to be their own
Yeah.
other thing.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to assume it's like we're not going to talk about the nuke stuff, kind of
Yeah.
clean slate, developing on previous
Love
characters.
it.
I assume we're going to take it a little bit more normal. So what's ongoing here? Um, I kind of don't remember. So Ben has feelings for his
Hmm.
secretary who's not acting on it, and she has a lot of tension in her marriage.
Dougie fought off Ike the Spike.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's do a Dougie
Okay,
prediction.
yes. So Dougie fought off Ike the Spike and also has his he's getting that other guy in trouble for insurance fraud with his magical powers.
The funny thing is, like, it feels oddly like Dougie's current stuff is wrapped up. So
Uh-huh.
Ike the Spike did not go for him. His coworker who he exposed does not seem like he's any real risk. He no longer owes that money. I think we're going to introduce some new Dougie plot
Love
thread.
it. Okay. What's it gonna be?
I'm gonna say the Twin Peaks, like Great Northern stuff,
Mm-hmm.
comes in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And please, yes, and me here, because
Yes,
I'm really,
absolutely.
it's
Okay,
been,
so yeah. The okay, we know that got the key that was sent to him, and okay, we know that the Twin Peaks police have their Laura Palmer diary, and they know that the Goodale is in the lodge and can't get out. So do they
yeah.
try to find like contact Dale Cooper somehow and like get involved in things?
Hmm.
We also know that what the other thing that happened this episode is that what the fuck did we say happened to Bill Hastings?
I think we pivoted away from that.
Oh yeah, fuck. Okay, well then okay, give me something about Bill Hastings cuz maybe we will that feels like a thing that we could follow up on.
Yeah, sure. Okay. He's still in jail, but the fact that like, oh, okay, we know that the jail dudes are very corrupt in this
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
Um, the sheriff or the warden's gun was used to shoot Bill's wife.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is the warden
Or no, it wasn't
forced.
it was a lawyer, I think.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, continue.
Someone falsifies papers to make it look like Bill was released from jail
Oh.
as that happened, in order to make themselves look less guilty of the shooting with their gun.
Uh-huh.
So they go. Some like dumbass cop who isn't in on the plot goes to Bill Hastings' house to arrest him, not knowing that he's already in jail.
Yeah. This is the exact kind of plot that would fucking happen in this season.
Thank you.
I feel like to yes and you, I feel like to be true to this season, then he gets there and something crazy happens. Like something Black Lodge happens.
Yeah.
Like he gets there and then a woodsman like throws him into the sun or some crazy shit, you know?
I think he finds a clue of some kind.
Mm.
Maybe like, you know what it is? It's like sooty footprints that just stop at some point
Love it. Love it. Okay. So,
in the middle of a room.
Bill Hastings is still in jail. The lawyer who was sleeping with his wife falsifies papers to make it look like Bill was released and that he shot his wife. Some dumb cop goes to Bill Hastings' house to arrest him and finds a supernatural clue, sooty footprints that just stop.
Footprints.
Okay. If we think that the Twin Peaks police are connecting themselves to Dougie somehow, now that they know that the Goodale's in the lodge, any called shots on how that happens or what the result is?
Yes. Totally. I have so many called shots, such as you know what? I think Hawk tries to go to the lodge.
Ooh, okay. So he tries to go to Glastonbury Grove.
Yeah.
Does he like meet Mike? Maybe.
Ooh, I really like that. I really like that. And I feel like he actually probably met Mike in the original run,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
he?
definitely. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, well then, you know what? We can just call it there. We can just call it there. So, Hawk tries to go to the Black Lodge via Glastonbury Grove to find the good Dale. He meets Mike, and that's all.
And that's all.
Okay, folks, I think that's all I can like humanely squeeze out of you after this fucking episode.
Thank you, Sadie.
Bill
Yeah,
Hastings
Jesus Christ.
is in jail. Next episode, this is what will happen. The lawyer who was sleeping with his wife falsifies papers to make it look like he was released and shot his wife. Some dumb cop goes to his house to arrest him and finds sooty footprints that just stop. Did I say footprints? Anyway, Hawk tries to go to the Black Lodge
Anyway.
via Glastonbury Grove to find the good Dale. He meets Mike, and that's all. That's the end of the episode. We've been recording for 3 hours and 30 minutes. Have a lovely rest of your day. Lily, I can't wait to see you for dinner later tonight. And
Yeah.
if a guy tells you about the water in the well, get out of there.
No, drink up, baby, drink up. Yummy.
Bye.
Bye.
Hell yeah.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, I was really
I
tired
know.
toward
I
the
could
end
always
there.
tell by the end because I'm like when we get when it feels like as soon as we hit the 3 hour mark, I can tell that you start getting tired because I'm like, what do you think would happen if
Yeah.
that Sarah Palmer? And you're like, that would be crazy.
Yeah, it'll probably take a little bit of condensing of me toward the end there, but I still think it was a good
I think
episode.
so too. Absolutely. No. Yeah.
TSTV is hosted by Sadie Avery Lake and yours truly, Lily Alexander. Our music is by Jamie Page. The art is by Maya Fernandez Giles. This episode was edited by Sadie. Thank you, Sadie. If you want to get in touch with us, please email us at hellotstv@gmail.com. We may include your mail on a future episode of the show. Let us know if that's okay. If you want to support the show and gain access to our monthly bonus episodes, head over to tstv.show. See you next time.
Hello, it is Sadie. I'm here with the content warnings for Twin Peaks The Return Part 9, also known as This is the Chair. This one, especially for a Twin Peaks The Return episode, is pretty low key. I would say, like, minor content warning for a disabled guy, like self-harm, not as in like a like cutting way, but like accidentally self-harming in a way that is like a bit grody, but not nearly on any of the gore level that we've been seeing in recent episodes. On the whole, especially for the return, pretty chill. Anyway, enjoy the episode. Bye.